Welcome to the Kicking Up Dust YouTube channel. I got a guest here today, Bashir, formerly known as Dubble, a very popular personality in the UK. Welcome to the show. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. To start, I want to start from the beginning, where you grew up, where you come from, where your parents come from, and then we go from there.
All right. I've kind of touched on this in other interviews, but it's funny because it kind of plays. It kind of answers a lot of other questions that a lot of people have. Because one thing I've noticed that a lot of people don't know where I'm from, and they're quite puzzled about where is this guy actually from or whatnot, because they've seen me in so many different places and whatnot. But my mum, my biological mother, used to live in West London. I was born in Hammersmith Hospital, so she lived in Ealing. My dad lived in Tottenham, and my stepmother lived in Battersea. But I literally spent equal time throughout all three houses, if that makes sense. So like I say, I'm just as much of a South man as I'm a North man, and you could say a West man as well to a certain degree. Obviously, my mum went through some trials and tribulations and whatnot, so I didn't really spend much time with her after, say, the age of 4 or 5. The time was very limited after that. But you could say between North and South London for the majority of my upbringing, yeah.
And your parents, where they originally from?
So my dad's mixed from Trinidad, and my mum's from South Africa, but mixed as well. And my stepmom is Jamaican, and like I say, my stepmom is my mum. She's the one who raised me.
Yeah. So
again, I've got a very heavy, you could say, Jamaican influence because of all of my cousins, my brothers from that side. But again, my dad's like mixed from Trinidad. My mum mixed South African.
And growing up in that environment between, different parts of London, school and stuff, what area did you go to school in?
In Tottenham.
You went to school in Tottenham?
Went to school in Tottenham, went secondary school in Edmonton. But the majority of the time in North London, yeah. And
growing up in Tottenham, going to school there and stuff, what was it like growing up?
Tottenham those days was a strange place, yeah, because it's like you had so many people that kind of just lived the kind of I can't say it's Tottenham, it's London, innit? It's any you could say urban area. There's always a little underworld, if that makes sense. So it's like you kind of live amongst a lot of crazy things that's kind of, it's not invisible, but it's not as visible if you don't involve yourself in it, if that makes sense. But again, for my situation, without saying too much, it's like my dad's quite elderly now. My dad's in his 70s now. He's still healthy and he's still living his life and whatever. But he was obviously very heavily involved in certain things since he came here till probably until I was born. He had me in his mid-30s, and obviously he was from that era where they were gangsters, but it was a lot more classy.
Yeah.
Do you understand? They were very articulate. The whole gangster the gangster culture was a lot more different. It was a very gentleman type of, a very gentleman lifestyle that had a dark side, if that makes sense. Yeah. So by the time I was born, my dad left alone certain things, and even more so because I was born. And again, my mum, she went in jail for a long time. She got done for a man, she went in jail for a long time. So I was living with my dad. I was raised predominantly by my dad. But by that time, even if he was involved in bits and pieces, I never ever really saw it. But again, his mentality had changed as well. The problem was with my mum. She was very young. She was a young mother, and she was, again, heavily involved in drug dealing and stuff like that as well. So again, it's like I got a lot more bad energy from that side of things, if that makes sense. And then when I got older, it was a lot more predominant to me because again, I'd get in trouble. I remember I never forget one time I got in trouble with my dad because he found me with some bits and pieces that I was sent from a young, maybe 13 or something. And he found me with something. He kind of got fed up with me by then. He tried to call my mum to tell me off. And she was like, make sure you wrap it tight in case you got to swallow it, and don't do nothing for small money. And it's like it never left me when she said that. Obviously, I get it now because again, she was young. She was still involved in certain things like that. She would ever say anything like that now to my younger brothers. But again, it's like there was always that conflict in my household, if that makes sense. It's like, because like, my dad is a good person. He's not even trying to tell me about his past. My mum's not trying to say too much, but I'm seeing a lot of things. I'm hearing a lot of things. She's very educated as well. She's got a master's degree. So it's just a lot of contradictions, if that makes sense. Where my mum's telling me to take education and do this, but if I get caught with drugs, it's okay. My dad, he's telling me don't do certain things, but you find out he was in and out of jail. He was a gangster. So again, it was a very conflicting understanding of the world at that time as well. Because again, you have to understand, in Caribbean backgrounds or black backgrounds in those days, there was a lot of things that we were kind of exposed to because it was seen as like a normal thing. Even down to like smoking weed or drinking alcohol in the house. These are like cultural things where it comes from. But it has an impact on children because we see a lot of things that have a detriment to us later as normal things. So you smoke, I mean, I first started smoking weed when I was like 9. But it's kind of normal. Like I got drunk when I was 5 with my mum. She passed something, some celebration or something, but she gave me alcohol, and I remember being drunk at that age. But again, it's seen as it's normal, but it's not normal. It's insanity really, and it has a big detriment later down because it kind of molds other decisions that you make as well. But again, for me, is that I think that's the kind of problem that I face, where it's like you understand kind of right from wrong, but the wrong's still okay. So it's your choice now, kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Because around you, innit? So
exactly, and I think that's the problem that you'll find with a lot of, like I say, people that come from, you could say, black backgrounds, if that makes sense, where wrong is wrong, and you know it's wrong, but the it's okay if you do it right or you do it well, if that makes sense.
I understand, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, if that makes sense. So that's how it was kind of coming up, you know what I mean? It's like, again, and that falls into so many different things where you're kind of told to be good, but if you mash up someone because they disrespected you, you get a pat on the back. I remember like I remember we was young one time, he got bullied by some older kids on the block or whatever. Now my dad's kind of badded us up, like, how you getting bullied? You got outside. He made us go outside with sticks and a knife, and it was kids running them down, and it was like a pat on the back moment. But again, it's like, if we did that in another situation and stabbed someone and got nicked and think, then you're in trouble, with something wrong. But it was okay when
because you got away with it.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a very strange thing to explain. But for those who, you know what I mean, it's a strange thing to explain.
Maybe because they knew it was a tough environment, so you had to be like, they thought that you had to be tough.
100%. You have to understand, my dad come here in the 60s. Like, they really had it tough. And again, what happened to a lot of the Windrush era, is that a lot of them were getting sent to homes by so-called family friends, if that makes sense. And they would pay the family friends to look after the kids, but they would never look after the kids. They would, and in most cases, they'd oppress the kids. Like the things my dad went through from so-called family friends, that where like you come home maybe 2 minutes late, they lock you out for the whole night in the winter. Do you understand? Like anything happens, anything wrong you do, they're always quick to kick you out. They're quick to kind of exploit you. If you maybe get a little job, they want to exploit you. They did a lot of funny things. So it's like they never really had a chance from when they came here. They came here, again, the whole no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. They went through all of that. The sus laws came out. That's my dad's era, where sometimes they get stopped 3-4 times a day. And when they get stopped, they're getting stopped with a smack and a punch and a kick. And do you understand? And again, my dad in those days, again, he was on stuff, innit? So you can imagine he's driving Jaguars, he's wearing Savile Row suits. Do you understand? He's doing bits and pieces. So you can imagine the hell he went through with police. So they were very hard in that sense. And then again, it's like our era kind of diminished a lot of things that they kind of built in terms of community, where they were kind of more against the racist people or police. And then our era came along and we was kind of against each other because we didn't have that fight no more. They fought that fight for us, and then we didn't have that fight. So we end up fighting each other. So again, it's like what you're saying, it's spot on. They understand what's happening, but again, I think that the problem that we face is that a lot of things are very culturally acceptable. Do you understand? It's not just that; it's even down to being promiscuous. Yeah. Like if you're a very promiscuous man in my culture, it's a pat on the back. Do you understand? If you're someone that can bun bare weed all day long, you're seen as someone that, you know what I mean. If you can fight, there's so much things that are very praiseworthy. That again, in hindsight, we understand it, because you know when you're coming from an oppressed situation, any type of conquering or any type of victory is good. It doesn't matter even if whether it comes from a good or bad place, something that you can show for or something that you can be celebrated for. That's all people want. And we see it now with social media. You got people walking around half naked, people doing a bunch of funny things just to get likes or just to be praised. 100%. So it's the same concept now.
100%.
It's just that people that are coming from an oppressed or a lowly type of mindset or a lowly type of cultural understanding of life or whatever it is, it doesn't matter how they're clapping their hands or what they're clapping their hands for. People just want to be clapped at. So these things come into play as well, yeah.
Just a question connected to that question. Like, see, when you were growing up, what was the financial situation like within your family?
Yeah, it was, and I think that's one thing that kind of made me a bit bitter later, because I know my mum was doing a lot of bits and pieces, and like I say, that she was, I don't know, it's not something I'm proud of or nothing, but she was good at what she was doing. She wasn't the average woman. Like, she was someone that was very respected by serious people. I never forget, even when I went to South Africa as a kid, when I was about 16, I went there and I was there for a while. My mum was there. She left to do her funny business or whatever. She went India or somewhere to go and do some funny business or whatever. But I befriended he was a big drug dealer over there in South Africa. I made him become good friends and we were rolling together, whatever. And then he dropped me home one day. And he's like, "You live here?" And he's like, "So who's your mum?" And I like, obviously, someone says my mum. He's like, "That's your mum?" Like, he couldn't believe it. But again, it's like, that's when it hit me even more. I knew, obviously, I kind of knew from growing up, like, the way men respected my mum and kind of feared my mum as well, to a certain extent, because she was known that she will get, you know what I mean? She's not just a money person. She will resort to violence as well. Do you understand? But that was like the icing on the cake for me, because again, South Africa is not a joke. I was in Cape Town, like, them times was like murder capital.
How long were you there for?
I was there. It's funny, I was supposed to go there for like a week or two or something. I kept postponing my ticket, like I was having the time of my life over there, yeah. Because I literally, for me personally, that was like it was a very good holiday and a bad holiday for me at the same time, because I kind of looked at life a lot differently. Because you see real poverty over there, you see real, like, you see things that, you know, you're not gonna see nowhere else. It's like a movie, literally like a movie living over there.
Yeah,
but because when I was over there, like, I've got a funny complexion as well. So I literally can go to black areas. I can go to the coloured areas. I don't know if you know about colours, they call them cake colours. They're like the light skin, mixed race type of black people over there. But my mum lived in mixed / white areas. Yeah, so, and she lived in those type of areas. So I literally had the craziest experience over there, because I literally went to I was in Mitchell's Plain. I don't know if people know about these areas, but I was in Mitchell's Plain, Kailicha, Guguletu, Langa. These are the worst areas in the world, not just in a country, like in the world. But I was there, normal, had my friends there, going raving, whatever, like that, doing my thing, like, to the point where I was got known over there in a short space of time. Even though my mum, like, laughs at me now. It's like, I don't know what you did when you was here, but they still talk about you now when you was here. Do you understand? Because at that time I was already active in London already. Yeah. So I've kind of gone there with the same mentality, like an idiot, to be honest, because if I got nicked over there, it'd have been you don't want to go to prison in South Africa, especially as a 16-year-old.
And the gunplay is
English. The gunplay, knife play, rape play, it's all like, it's peak over there. They're not easy people over there. But one thing that I think that I love the most about there is that I met some of the worst people and I met some of the best people. Like, some of the best people you meet in the worst places. Do you understand? And it makes you understand that. And it's the same thing that we kind of go through as well. Like, obviously, like, where I'm from, like, we were Tottenham, had a big stigma back in the day, and people always have a perception, okay, you're from Tottenham, so you have to be a certain way. Oh, yeah. But it's not the case. You understand? There's a lot of intelligent people, there's a lot of successful people, a lot of good people come from these places. But again, circumstances in life lead you to certain directions, yeah, if that makes sense. Sometimes
you find people in areas like that with more integrity
100%
than people with, like, from well-off backgrounds.
Because we're real people in the reader's sense. It's not about being bad boys or nothing, but again, it's like you come from the bottom. You're literally from the bottom. So again, it's like, like you have a different understanding of life and a different outlook on life, and you appreciate things a bit more as well. So,
and sometimes, to be honest with you, is that integrity that helps you survive.
100%. And I think that's for me. Like, people look at me like I'm crazy because I've done a lot of traveling around the world by myself. Like, I've gone to China by myself. I've gone all around Middle East. I've been to a lot of countries. Even though I'm not by myself, maybe with one person or something, like America or all over the Caribbean, different parts of Africa. But again, it's like when you come from someone at Tottenham in the 90s, nowhere can't really scare me, to be
100%.
honest. And it's not a bad boy thing, like I say, it's a man thing, because again, it's like you kind of refuse to be scared of your own people as well, especially going to black places. Like for me, I've always had that thing where I refuse to be scared of my own people.
Yeah, understand.
You understand? A lot of people are scared of people that look like them. That's why we've got so much crime going on. People see someone that looks like them, and it's like you don't understand that that's your brother. Do you understand? You don't have to be scared of him. Do you understand? But
Like
that's why a lot of these kids are doing what they're doing now, because
a lot of people won't go from one neighborhood to another now because it might be an issue.
Yeah, and like that's something that I was known for. That I would go to any neighborhood, or I would
king of the UK.
yeah, something like that, man. So, but again, even with that, a lot of people didn't understand where that came from. That came from between me and obviously the person I'm close to them now, but I had a bit of a, I don't want to say friction, because me and I had a good relationship. To be fair, me and I had he was like the main person in my area at the time, older than me, really good to me, but he wasn't good to some of my friends. Okay. And I took it personal, do you understand? Yeah. But even now, like, we're close again and whatever, and again, I had nothing but love for him growing up. He was a good guy, always good to me, respecting me, whatever. But again, I'm always been someone that's very loyal, do you understand? So just because, okay, you're good to me, it doesn't mean it's okay with what you're doing to my friends, kind of things. I kind of took it personal. Obviously, he said he was king of something, and that was me kind of trying to go one step further. That's how it kind of started.
Like an ego thing, basically.
It was an ego thing initially, do you understand? But for me, it more boiled down to the fact that I saw the dynamics of the hoods, if that makes sense. And for me, it was like, I've always been the youngest one in most, we could say for a long period of time, I was always the youngest one in my circles. Like even like my best friends, the one that died as well, like all the guys I kind of come with when I was younger, they were always maybe 10 years older than me, 5 years older, they're always older than me. But I always kind of had my own personality or my own say. I've never really been under someone, even if I'm younger than you, and you're my older, but you can't treat me like a younger, if that makes sense, kind of thing. I've never been that guy where like I'm a younger, like you know what I'm trying to say. I understand. But what happened when I kind of obviously coming up now, and you can vouch for this as well. There's certain names that gone like they're bad boys, but they were answering to people.
100%.
And it's like I never understood how you're a big man now. You've got whatever you've got. You do whatever you do, but so why are you answering to someone else? Why are you scared to go to another area? That's 5 minutes down the road for me. Do you understand? Why when you go out, you have to go with a minimum of 10 people?
That's true, yeah.
Do you understand? And people look at it like it's slip. I get it. Some people are cautious, whatever, but I refuse to live like that. One thing anyone can tell you that majority of my time was always by myself, or maybe one man, or that's something I kind of took pride in, where like, I like to be by myself or maybe one person. So there's times, okay, I'm not saying I didn't hang around with people, but even I was laughing with my wife the other day saying that I remember even seeing them rave pictures where they kind of catch you slipping in a rave.
Yeah.
But I remember one time I saw a rave picture and then my cousin was laughing saying, brother, imagine you're here. And there was about maybe like 30 of us in a rave. But he said, bro, I don't know why you always do that. Stop walking off and doing your own thing. Because it's like you're slipping. But I said, bro, I don't need people. I'm not here to, you know what I mean, be carried by people. I'm my own man kind of thing. So that's where, again, like the king of the UK thing, why I took pride in it, because it's like, end of the day, I know for a fact I'm someone that's my own man. I go anywhere I want to go. I do what I want to do. I say what I want to say. And you know what I mean? So that was my thing.
I think where a lot of that comes from, this is from my personal experiences, like some people are comfortable within their own skin. Like, 100%. So when I was like, for example, when I was in prison, I was going around or whatever, like in my mind, I'm okay because I know where I'm willing to go. You understand what I mean?
100%.
So I'm comfortable because I'm willing to go somewhere where I've been many times before. So like you said, when you move around from area to area, you know yourself. And the thing is as well, you probably wasn't a troublemaker as well. Like you're not going to go make trouble.
I'll give you a joke as well, yeah? Remember that we never crossed paths back in the day, but I heard your name.
Yeah.
You're not a troublemaker, but you know what I mean? Like you finish problems. You finish problems, you understand? And again, like that's for me, like that's what I'm not saying I haven't caused problems. I'm not saying I'm not an angel, but that wasn't my forte. My forte wasn't oppressing people or doing none of that. But my thing was that like I'm not
Yeah, of
backing
course.
down from no one. I'm not. Yeah, so
Yeah, you see, like,
and that's one thing I kind of heard about your situation to a degree where that's why again people kind of respected you as like, you know what, my man, he's not a troublemaker, but he's not having it. He's known for someone that's he's not gonna have it. Do you understand? So
definitely one of my things was not to abuse your power.
100%.
That was one of my things. Don't ever abuse, because I've seen people abuse that power.
Yeah, 100%.
And I notice with people that abuse that power, it always goes wrong in the end. You got to be
100%.
just, you know.
100%.
And that's something from our religion as well, you know.
Yeah,
That, you know,
100%.
don't abuse your position of power. So with me, it was a bit. I was 16 when I was on the roads, like doing certain bits and pieces, and I was like the only young Asian bro on road. So everyone else would come from like the West Indian community and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just natural, innit? You're gonna become a target now.
Exactly, yeah.
So it was like, either now you become like a victim,
or you victimize.
no.
But that's how it starts.
Yeah,
that's how it starts.
look,
Be real. That's how it starts.
If you
But what happens? It develops into, again, because you're a person that you've always had a bit of integrity anyway. Again, like you said, it's about abusing power now because you don't have the power in the beginning.
Exactly.
But when you get the power, what do you do with it now?
exactly.
And that's the thing that, like I said, that's what
be fair.
separates people. Do you understand?
So with me, what it was like, so once we had the power and the justice, there was a level of justice.
Yeah.
So now that we're in a position now, even now, alhamdulillah, that we're respected in a good way by every community.
Yeah, 100%.
African, Asian, West Indian, because, you know, I think, and I personally think, because I learned about the religion from a very young age. I was in prison, youth offenders.
Yeah.
And I learned from a very young age, and I think it was from the religion, don't bully people. You know, there's from our religion about oppressing people. It's a big deal.
Big deal.
So I think that
It's from the worst things to do because, again, your sins are between you and Allah.
Exactly.
But your oppression is between you and the person.
You're oppressing, right?
And you can't be forgiven until that person forgives you. So
Of course.
it's very sticky, yeah, when you become an oppressor, yeah.
Just to backtrack quickly, when of you growing up, you got involved in the streets, right?
Yeah.
Was that because you wanted money? What was the motivation behind that? Or everyone else was on it? So
I'll be honest, everyone starts from wanting certain things that their parents can't buy for them. That's everyone starts. But for me, I think that I'm just gonna be real with you. Like I said, I was around a lot of people that were older than me. And there's certain things that happen. To be fair, there's one thing that happened that kind of flipped me. And then it was a bunch of other things happening at the same time. Because like I say, I grew up with my dad for most of my life. When I was about, say, 5, I'm with my dad. My dad's trying to shelter me from a lot of things.
yeah,
But when my mum come out of prison, I'm kind of seeing her from time to time. And unfortunately, I can say, like, I forgive her now. But she really tried to turn me against my dad.
okay,
Like, really tried to turn him. Not just my dad, my brothers, my stepmom, everyone. She had her reasons. I get maybe sometimes women, they can't deal with the fact that they're not being a mother. Remember, for a woman, a mother is a major duty. Do you understand? So if you're not doing that, I believe that, you know, a lot of negative emotions probably came out of her. I'm trying to make excuses for her. Do you understand? But again,
of course,
you know what I mean? That's all I can do. But it's like I'm living in the house with my dad, but my mum's trying to basically turn me against him. She's telling me, you know, your dad done this to me. The reason why I'm on the road is because of your dad. This fact, you done this, that. Your mum, your stepmom, even down to that. Don't let your stepmom cut your hair because she's gonna do juju on you, and your brothers are not your brothers because blah blah blah. Like, so much crazy things she was saying to me, but she's telling me don't say nothing. So I'm going back into my household now, numb, because I don't trust you. You're not my brother. I don't, you know, you're not my mum anyway, but I don't trust you as well.
yeah.
So I just developed this kind of reclusion in my own head, if that makes sense. And then on top of that, always been a popular guy, always been, you know what I'm saying, the girls always liked me. Before any money, I've always had girls like me, or people kind of gravitate to me. I'm good at sports. I'm always just good at, I'm not saying I'm never the best at nothing, but I'm always good at everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. You could play football.
But what happened, like I'm trying to say, that I'm coming from Tottenham, where them days, they don't care how young you are, they'll take your things.
100%.
And I never forget, like, there's some guy that I thought was cool. He's like older, way older than me as well. Not like 1 year or two, maybe 5 years older than me. And you're like 11, and the guy's 16. Like he's like he's old enough to be a dad in your eyes. Do you understand? And the guy tried to take something from me. Do you understand? And I'll be honest, it flipped me. That was like, for me, that was kind of the turn. Because again, a lot of people done things for money. Do you understand? But for me, I just be real. Like, I got to a point where, like, I just, like I say, like,
I'm not having it.
And then that leads to other things. Again, remember, we're in Tottenham now. It's not where, like, everyone's bad.
And that was the era of
so you have
robberies.
to, and that was that era where, you know what I'm trying to say,
Street
where
robberies, that's what it was.
Street robberies. You understand? We weren't known for really drug dealing. That was more Hackney. There was drug dealing going on, but we weren't predominant for that in our day. Our day was, we a robber man.
Yeah.
We take your things. So that was my thing as a kid. As a kid, that was my thing.
Robbing.
And again, was I trying to oppress people? I don't think so. I just think I was an angry kid that just wanted to be the lion in the jungle. That's it. But again, like I say, one thing I'm grateful for is that it didn't last long. It wasn't something that I took into my adult life, if that makes sense. I'm not saying things happened, but it was never really to be an oppressor or to be a bully. Nothing to do with that. You understand? As a kid, I can't speak for that. Do you understand? But again, it's like, in our day, like, you know, as well, like, we weren't wearing Nike, and it wasn't a Nike thing. It was all Versace. It's Probitos. You have to go Probitos. You have to go Cricos. And we're kids. We're like, remember, I'm raving in chimes, and then big people dances at 13. Do you understand?
Crazy.
Like 13 years old.
That's like a big man.
I'm raving in. These were like over 25 dances.
How are you
or whatever.
getting in though?
But again, because we was respected. And remember, I'm hanging around with older people. So I'm that kid, but
you're
I'm always that one that people say, he's the cold. From my age, I've always kind of been like one of the baddest ones for my age. So a lot of elders, like predominant names, I've always kind of took me under their wing, like, I rate him. And
so you're getting bigged up by the elders.
Exactly. So that's why I can go to certain places and I can get away with certain things, or, you know what I'm trying to say.
You know, one thing you did say about, you see sometimes is that trauma that you're holding inside you from
trauma.
And
Big trauma.
And it kind of releases on the roads. Yeah. You release that because you can't release it inside the house. And obviously, I'm sure exactly the same for you. We're kind of taught, and maybe it's a background thing. Like, we're told not to express our emotions. It's not like a manly thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Let me be real with you, bro. Yeah, and this is I think these are the most important things that we have to start talking about. Because again, we could talk about this and stories and whatever what we've done. It is what it is. People, if they want to know, they can Google, they can find that. Go to your local police station and find out if you want to find out things. But people don't understand that a lot of us have substantial reasons why we were the way they were. People might think, it's not acceptable. For me, it's like, in my day, and it hurts now when I look back on it, because remember, a lot of my age group, their parents, like maybe one parent or an auntie we all had drug addicts in our families. But it was seen as something that was shameful. But we all had one. But no one could talk about it. Unless your mum was an open crackhead or something, then it might be like something that, okay, you can't hide it. But everyone had a drug addict in their family. Do you understand? For me, it was 10 times worse for me, because it's like, my mum don't live with me, so I don't really have to deal with it. But I know my mum's taking drugs. Okay. But she's the worst type of drug taker because she's making so much money. She was selling it, and she's selling big amounts. So I remember being there where, like, other family members like get onto her about taking drugs, and she's like, shut up, you can't chat. Where's your property? Where's your this? Shut up, you can't chat to me. Where's your money? Where's like her? Remember, she's an African woman. They're fiery. They're not easy. And she's a real, like I said, them times she was a real gangster. Like, it is what it is. I don't know. It is what it is. You can't. That's the only way to describe her. She was really about it. She was very organized as well. She had her own team and she was doing certain things. So again, it's like, when you're dealing with that type of stuff now, where it's not even praiseworthy at that age. Like, you don't rate it because I'm a kid. I'm 10. I'm 11. Exactly, my mum's a drug dealer. She's taking drugs. Certain time I'm going to stay with her now. She's waking me up in the middle of the night. Hi. Do you understand? Like, I'm going through this now. She's telling me madness about my dad. I don't rate my brothers now because his father. Like, I'm going through so much things, but I can't tell no one. So I'm not angry. I'm furious, but I can't tell no one.
Can't tell no one.
Can't tell no one. I never told anyone any of this stuff until I'm in my mid-20s. Like, my whole young life, I had to deal with this stuff in my head. Do you understand? On top of that, I'm dealing with the outside world now. So it's one thing to kind of go. Remember, enough people had nice households and they didn't have that many issues in their household, but they still had to deal with outside. And that's enough of a reason to be a bad boy.
Yeah.
Where elders are trying to rob you, people trying to run you down, people trying to bully you, whatever it is now. Do you understand? That's enough to kind of go down a certain road. But for me to be someone that I've always been talented, or I've always wanted to do better in my life anyway. I've never been a rotten person.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I've always been intelligent. I've been articulate. Do you understand? I can adapt to different surroundings.
Be smart.
Exactly. I was very intelligent. I mean, like book smart intelligent. Not just like I'm road smart. I was actually academically smart, but I was very angry, and I can't tell no one. And it's not like it's not okay that you got one issue, one household now, so you can go to your dad and talk about it now. I don't trust my dad either. I don't rate my dad. I'm thinking my mum's just done X amount of years in jail for manslaughter now. I don't see her because she's an international drug dealer. Because of you. You put her on to certain things now. Do you understand? You beat her up before and find out the reason why he beat her up, because she left me in the house by myself as a baby to go and do some deal. So even it's coming out after, I'm thinking like, I'm angry with my dad all my life. I'm thinking my dad beat up my mum for a reason that she should have been beaten up for, basically. I'm not excusing it, but you don't leave a baby in the house to go and do a deal. So my dad's telling me, saying, Bashir, like, you don't understand. That I always was good to your mum. I never and one father. That's why my dad is like my best friend now. I love him. Like he's my superhero. Because without my dad, I'd have been in the system. But when when I look back and my dad's telling me, listen, I never ever said nothing bad about your mum because I never wanted you to resent your mum. But you have to understand a lot of problems that you've got is because your mum. I've like even now until I'm my relationship with women. People might look at me before, this guy's a womanizer and he's this, but I've got mummy issues. I don't remember my mum tucking me in at night. I don't remember my mum really loving me or nothing. Do you understand? I don't remember none of that. A lot of my problems have come from my mum, because you have to remember my mum is a certain type of person. I'm not going to go into it, but she was very harsh with me. Very harsh. She's just very quick to tell me I'm not her son. She's quick to tell me, don't come to my house, don't chat to me, I don't want to hear from you. And then she loves me and she hates me, she loves me. Do you understand? Because she hates my dad.
Just turmoil, innit?
So it's torment. It's like torture for a kid. Like we're and I'm a very loving person. I love my mum until now. No matter what she's done to me, I still love my mum. Do you understand? But it's like no one's hurt me more than you, and you're the one that's supposed to have looked after me more than anyone. No one's supposed to protect you more than your mum.
That's right. But
the one person supposed to protect me has basically been my enemy for my whole life. So it's like it takes a toll on me. But again, like you said, like we have a culture where we're supposed to be like brick walls now. We can't talk about nothing.
So, what I want to ask you, so obviously that led you down a worse path now. So now you're on the roads.
Yeah.
You're getting up to all types of madness. Did you end up in jail?
I went in jail in 01.
Where did you go?
I went Feltham.
That's where everyone goes.
The worst, yeah. That it's so mad, yeah, because I think that it's like it was weird because it's like I'm gonna start naming names, but every kind of main name that was between 15 and 21 kind of was there at that point. Like you can say most of the main names.
Yeah, most of the main
from
names.
north to south to east. To everyone was kind of in Feltham at that time.
How long were you there for?
About 4 months.
Did you get out or?
Yeah, I was on remand for like a possession of something charge. Yeah.
How did you feel when you landed?
To be honest, yeah, like I say, at that point, like it's weird when I look back in it now, yeah. But like I say, like I've been doing so much from I'm allowed to play outside. So by the time I've got to 16, like we literally felt like we were big men. Do you understand? And I remember at that point now, I left home at 16 and I moved to Handsworth, like top Handsworth, like Burger Bar, Central them days. I moved there.
Oh wow.
With my friend, and we literally just like adapted straight away kind of thing. Like they're like
they took to you basically.
I'm basically like I say, that's a very it's like another home away from home, if that makes sense. But it's like when you go through all that madness in your own area. Remember, like I said, I'm going south. I'm all over the place by that point. Then I'm going to Birmingham. So by the time I've got to prison now, it's like I'm beef with big people. I remember they put me in the young offenders. Like my age group, I'm not. Remember, like even like when I'm in there, my code is even on the adult side. I'm not even. All my friends are on the adult side. I don't even really have friends on the younger side. Yeah. because all my friends on the adult side. So again, I don't know guy into it, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm someone that I never had even a fight in there. Like obviously, I done something to people, but no one ever even tried to fight me. Even the way the governors dealt with me in there, because they saw that this guy's he's respected in there. And again, it's not always a bad boy thing. It's just the way I carry myself. I've always been a very respectful person. I'm not someone that used to punch up screws for no reason or whatever. I deal with them with a certain level of respect, and they dealt with me with respect. That's why stuff where like I could bun weed like daytime, never got no piss tests. They would let me do a lot of. I got away with a lot of things because they looked at me as someone that he bullies the bullies. Like my thing was I used to bully bullies. If you was a bully in there, I was on you.
Yeah.
But they knew, because they obviously remember they hear everything. They know everything was going on, so they hear that someone's bully one of the little country white boys are coming there now, and they're cool. Like some boys, they're cool. Maybe like for me, it's like when you hear about prison culture, and especially in America where people kind of let the defenseless people leave them. I couldn't do it for me personally.
100.
When someone was getting bullied, I'm defending them. Do you understand? Anyone that's getting bullied, I'm defending, and then I'm gonna make that bully's life a misery. Do you understand? Even for me, the only person I even done something to read in there was one guy that was a rapist in there, but he tried to lie. And one of the governors come to me and he said, yeah, you know, boom, 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 he's in there for rape.
That's how it was back in the day.
And what made it worse for me is that we're in there now, and it's like, because he was big and he kind of built this persona for himself, people said they were going to move to him. No one wanted to move to him. Because it was shook of him, or I don't know what it was. He was big as well. He's a big youth. I was tiny them days in jail, tiny. I'm living by myself. I'm living off doner burgers and malnourished and skinny, and I'm not. But obviously, man's on stuff, whatever now. So when I'm there and no one wants to do nothing to him, and then I think one day I caught him in a church, and even the way it happened, like, you just kind of give someone something and kind of went into fight back, and he's even scared to fight. He's a rapist, he's a piece of, he's scum, he's a bully in it. So when he's seen this little mad little light skin, you punch him in his face and say, come fight. He's froze up as well. And even down to the governors, take me back to my cell and go on social. Nice one, blend man, and pat me in your back kind of thing. Do you understand? So when I was there, it was like I say, it was to be fair, it was the worst thing that happened to me. Because I just wasn't scared of jail no more. Yeah, I honestly enjoyed my time there. Like, and I'm sad to say that, but I had a very good time in there. I met some good friends. I smoked a lot of weed in there. I had a good time in there. And again, I think for me, it's like it kind of proves something to myself about myself. Because basically what happened is that the thing basically was me, my code, and another person in the car, and the things was mine. It was my thing, but the car was in my coldie's name, and he's older than me. He's already been jail. He's already been convicted. He's already got a rap sheet from when he's a kid. He's been in the system. He's on paper, he's already a menace by then. The other guy, he's got bail because remember these time I'm living in Birmingham, and I'm not even giving him my address or nothing. I'm lying about my address, so they've remanded me. So when we're in there now, I'm a juvenile. I've never been to jail. I've got little bits and pieces, scrapes, but nothing, no big convictions now. So the lawyer's telling me, just go not guilty. He said, you don't have to snitch on your cold D, but it's his car, it's in his name. They're gonna put it on him. They're not gonna put it on you because he's older than you as well. Like this. I said, well, I'll just go guilty then. So in my mind, I'm going guilty. When I now can go home, he said, listen, you can go home. Just go not guilty. Don't even have to snitch. Just go not guilty. Yeah. What's happened? It's funny what happened. I look back at it now, yeah, it's mad. But I think there's two major parts that had to play in it. That, like, I'm thankful to Allah for it now as well, because it proves something to me as well. Because basically, he's a famous guy now. He's Christopher Wallace. I don't know if you've seen that show, The Chase. It's like a quiz show. He's the first black man that won Mastermind as well. He's famous guy.
I heard the name.
He was my barrister.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he was my barrister. So he's coming, but them times he's fresh. Like he's still like young. He's got some mad cane rolls in his head. He's coming there, bugging out like a roadman kind of thing. I'm thinking, I'm done at it, and this guy's gonna rub me out in the like he's come to back me. I'm thinking, I'm done. He's gone in the court and he's badded up the judge. He's gone mad on the judge. But these times I'm so stuck in my ways. I'm just thinking, in my head, I'm going guilty. Yeah. So I'm ready to do my 5, innit?
Yeah. Was it mandatory 5 by then?
Them time, yeah, it was 5 by then. Okay. I swear it was 5.
That must be 03 or something?
No, it went 5 by then, but people, I swear people were getting 5. People were getting 5s.
100%, yeah.
It depended on the situation, but I think them time you could still get like a 2.5, a 3. You could still get those type of bits and pieces, you understand? But in my head again, I'm just thinking,
Worst case
people are
scenario.
getting fired. That's the worst it's gonna be is a 5.
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm ready to do the 5, do 2.5 innit. That's not in mind. I'm doing 2.5 innit. So I'm thinking I'm not even paying attention in the court, whatever. So I've gone back now. This is the same week when I punched up the youth in the church. I've given the youth a smack in the church.
Yeah.
But remember, this time I'm Christian, innit? So I've gone back now, but the gov's saying go and pay Paul, go and social, innit? But I'm thinking, nah, this is mad, you know, man. I just punched up a youth in the church. Like, this is mad. Like, I'm losing it now. Like, this is...
Loose balling.
I'm like, nah, bang me up. I'm saying, bang me up, bang me up. They don't know that I'm gone to the Bible. I'm going to... Because them days, they give you like a special Bible where they've got like things you want to pray for is in the back, in it. So you can go like, look, I found repentance. I'm reading a film about repentance saying, like, God, man, I'm going mad, you know. Like, sorry, man, I didn't mean to. But obviously, he's a rapist. He deserved it, but I shouldn't have done it there.
Consciousness was
It's
there.
hit me now. But them, like, even that, like, I remember that, because even for me, again, it shows that people look at us like we're little devils, but we're not.
Not, man.
We've got consciences, but again, we're in a jungle. Like, remember, I'm in Feltham 01.
People
Like, man are killing themselves. Remember, like, after that's when other you got killed in the jail. Like, maybe the year after you got killed or the year before. Come on. That Muslim, the brother, the Muslim
Zahid
brother got
Mubarak.
killed in there.
Zahid Mubarak.
Some other youth, I remember I saw some like autistic youth in there. Like, he was blatantly autistic or something. He was a big youth and he was just like weird. And I'm like, what are you doing in there? He's like, robbery. You know when you said it like he couldn't even talk properly.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for you. I remember people was like, kind of, but he went on my wing. So I couldn't really defend him, innit?
Yeah.
Two to head, he hanged himself in there.
Oh, man.
So I'm saying them days, it was like, for me, it was easy, but for other people, it was rough.
Rough, yeah.
I remember I know the guy, but every name that you could think of from Brixton to Tottenham, the main
Everyone
names,
was there.
they were all there.
That was a madhouse.
And in between, like that year, it was a bad year in Feltham, especially in Feltham. 01 was a bad year in Feltham, do you understand? So for me, it's like, they look at us like we're a certain way, but again, you don't understand where you're putting us as kids. Like we're kids.
That was, you know,
I remember, I think I just turned 17, but again, I think I'm a big man. In my head, I'm a big man.
100.
I'm a big man out here. Do you understand? So
100.
I've gone to myself, done the repentance thing.
Yeah.
So remember, this is the same week. So remember, this is Sunday. And a couple of days before, I think the Friday, I've gone to the court. So the next week now, Friday night, the gov's come to my cell, like, you want to know what Father Christmas got you? I'm like, shut up, man. Come on, my son, man. You talking about Father Christmas and shut up, man. Like, but I was cool with him. Like it's like more like a shut up, like banter, shut up.
Thing,
Because he pulled me in a couple of days before that. But I remember said about the bully because he's like, listen, Blemman, we know you're bullying people. Do you understand? Like the bullies.
Yeah.
Like we like what you're doing, but just don't let us see it all the time, kind of thing. Like keep it down, kind of thing. Because like we don't want to write you up. We like what you're doing because they don't. The guys that I was bullying, the guys that were punching them up and doing funny things. So they were happy.
People, stealing and stuff.
They were happy what I was doing, but he's like just keep it down, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Don't, you know what I mean? So he's come like, oh, would you not Father Christmas got? And like, shut up, man. He said, I won't tell him what you got you then. All right, go on. What do you get me? He's like, where do you want the travel warrant to go? But I don't, them time, remember, it's first time in jail, I'm thinking, what, you can't move me, Joe. I know you can't move, I'm Ramon, you can't move me, I ain't done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Say, nah, what train station? This is Friday night, you know, in the night, like 9 o'clock in the night, or something like late in the night. I'm like, Wood Green. So obviously they released me, but what I found out after is that they tried to do a bad man thing. They released me on the Monday. I was released from the Monday, but they left me all week
5
until the
days.
Friday night to let me out, do you understand? But again, it just kind of proved to me again that, you know what, whatever situation you put me in, I'm gonna adapt, cool, but I'm gonna do it with integrity because again, I could have done my guy dirty. I could have had intention, I want to go home. Remember, I'm 17, I'm young, got bare things going on outside. I want to go home. I don't want to be sitting in
He
there.
held it down though.
But I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go guilty. Yeah, remember, he's looking like I'm going mad. I said, what are you doing? Just go. But I said I'm gonna go guilty. Man was out within a week.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So
They dropped the case.
They dropped the case because it was an illegal stop and search. The car was parked, locked. Do you understand?
so they
it
didn't
was
have
an
a
illegal
warrant.
stop and
They
search.
didn't
They had a
have a
warrant.
warrant.
They didn't have a warrant to search the car. It was parked. And that's why they said if we pulled, we was about to pull out, but they stopped it before it pulled out. If we pulled out, it'd have been different. Because it was parked and locked, illegal stop and search.
So what I want to get to from that point on, I want to get to your journey to Islam because you turned Muslim.
Yeah,
Like, there was a music transition.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, before I ask you that question, something really important. It's something that hit me when I watched something. There's that comedian, what's his name? He's really famous. I don't know how I forgot his name now. Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
He had a £50 million contract on the table,
Yeah.
which he walked away from for reasons to do with his religion. A lot of people could never understand that. Like, how can you walk away from like a guaranteed purse, basically, a bag?
Yeah.
But we're going to get to that point because there's something you told me earlier today that a lot of people don't know. But so you get out of jail, the rap scene, and then what happens next? You could just.
Long story short, yeah, it's like again, I've always been talented, whether it's sports or music. Like as a kid, I used to sing, and I was an actor. I've always been good at everything. I've been good at. I've been just a talented kid. Do you understand? A lot of us are. When you go to the ghetto, a lot of us are mad talented. We just never get our break. Do you understand? But you'll be surprised what people are capable of in the ghettos. Do you understand? So obviously the whole rap thing kind of started to. Is that more like Channel U days kind of kicked a lot of us off? When we saw Channel U, like raw, like we can actually do it kind of thing.
Put it on TV.
And again, for me, it was more that I'll be honest here, like I don't think I was the greatest rapper, do you understand? But because of who I was on the road or whatever, it was a lot easy for me to kind of transition to and kind of get further a lot quicker. Yeah. Because again, I'm one of the people that, like I say, even when my CD came out, my first CD was in HMV. It was a mixtape. Like no one ever done stuff like that. But again, because of the kind of the road clout and just the fact that people knew that it wasn't just like a road buzz. It was like even down to prisons. Like man was, from what I heard, people was fighting for the CD in prison. Like it was something weird because they knew who man was. Yeah. So it was something that was accepted by people a lot easier, if that makes sense.
Channel U, that's about 04?
Yeah, but I never did Channel U though. It's so funny because I actually had a proper video done for Channel U just before I left. Because my thing was that I never went, even though I was on like YouTube and DVDs and stuff like that, I always thought that, you know what, the minute you kind of go on Channel U, you've got to proper change things around that because it's like for us, it's like we had our own little world, if that means. With the DVD game, like the old days, like Mike Million and Streets Incarcerated and Ivy Images, like Streets is Raw. These days, it was kind of like an underworld
What year was that?
This is from my rap thing kind of more started say 05. I kind of started 04, 05. I kind of started. The buzz started proper popping off say like 07.
07, yeah.
Because again, I wasn't taking it serious. I kind of started it, but I didn't start releasing anything. I remember like even me, like I put out there was a DVD that came out. It was like obviously a proper controversial DVD. Street Selected.
I heard about that. Yeah,
that was my DVD that I produced as well. Not a lot of people knew that, but again, it's like from that point, a lot of attention went on the road rappers, if that makes sense, because they had a proper platform. And again, it's not just that. Remember, America, a lot of Americans started contacting me because they were like they never understood that London was that. Well, UK was like that. Remember, people was putting out AKs and Uzis and a lot of things was going on that DVD. So there's a lot of attention got worldwide because of that. Do you understand? So things started to pop off a bit more, whatever. But again, I just never, I took it serious, but I never really took it serious. I think what happened to me, a lot of people don't know, is that I had another charge, say 09, when they said they found something with my print on it. But these times, like, again, I've kind of touched on this before in other documentaries, whatever, but even leading up to me becoming Muslim, I was around some Muslims that used to deal with a lot of judge. They used to do a lot of funny stuff, whatever. They said it was, you know what I mean, Islamic stuff, whatever, but knowing now it's nothing to do with Islam. Yeah. So I caught a charge, and again, same thing, caught Africa, turn where it is, boom, boom, boom. It's going to disappear. Disappeared. The case, they come back now, they said, don't worry, they're going to lose everything. Don't worry about it. Gone there, they've lost everything. But that was like a turning point for me. I said, you know what, I'm not even gambling with this thing now. I'm going to just try and take it serious now. So when people are thinking about the transition, even when people thinking, how did you leave certain things? Because I already went into a mindset anyway about transitioning anyway. Like I was always like, you know what, I don't really want to be on a road no more. This is dead, do you understand? Like, I don't really want to be on a road like this. I got bigger and better things I could be doing. But I know I can actually do, if I can run my area and do certain things, or I'm saying run my area, but if I could be a predominant person in London, do you understand, on the road or whatever, this music thing's easy. It's easy. It's an easy transition to do. So why not just take it serious, innit? Remember, I was in America 05 or whatever, and they were rating man over there. Because remember, they never met London people actually. Some of them, remember I was with them mad Puerto Rican youths on funny people over there, and they couldn't believe that, this is how you London guys are. And when they hear my music as well, they couldn't believe it. So I knew that this is an easy place for me to conquer. Remember, I don't know guy into it, but remember, I was a real bad boy at that stage. So I'm kind of same energy over there.
You're on the road, isn't it? So
I'm kind of same energy over there. So I'm thinking like, I can easily go over there and run things over there as well. Do you understand? Especially because I know just even the people that are gravitating to me, I know that the same way I've got London is the same I'm going to have here.
Of course.
People are going to gravitate to me. It's easy. If I'm marketable, I get along with people. Do you understand? I've got things going on. It was easy for me. I don't want to name names, but even like some of them little Latinos just tried to dip set and I was just meeting these guys out and they were more on me than I was on them.
yeah, okay.
Cause they're looking like, right, this guy's from London, man.
Yeah.
He's remember they're meeting me. I'm by myself. I'm with girls or you understand. I'm not even with gang. I'm kind of by myself and they're still seeing, right, this guy's got some mad energy.
Were you out there for music or just a
Holiday,
okay,
holiday. But again, I was gonna stay out there. I didn't want to leave. And Miami was my my spot. Yeah, I didn't want to leave there. Do you understand? But again, it's like I was transitioning, if that makes sense. Do you understand? But
so you were transitioning from the road to like the music scene.
Yeah, just to kind of take it 100% serious.
Okay, and then you did take it seriously.
I did. And then again, it's like, again, a lot of people don't know. There's something we discussed earlier. So like you say, when you're talking about the Dave Chappelle situation, my situation was nowhere near that.
Of course.
But for me, it was pretty bigger than that.
Yeah.
Because Dave Chappelle's big. He's a millionaire already.
Yeah, of course.
He's famous, whatever. So that 50 million in hindsight, it's not as big as you think it is to these people because they know what comes with it as well.
Of course.
They know you take that 50 mil, you understand? Things come with that. It's not just a free 50 mil. Do you understand? It's like the worst bank loan in the world, basically. Any of these deals is basically like going to the bank and saying, give me the worst bank loan you've got and I'll take it. That's what it is, basically, innit? So the Shot of Music's come out. I had a couple little hosted some mixtapes, whatever, Street Selected. Boom. Boss Baff, he was Chipmunk's manager. I grew up with him. He's from Tottenham as well.
Chip?
Yeah, Chip. Now, he's offered me a deal with his company and Universal Records. And a lot of people are aware of this deal because it's the same deal Chip got to go to America. When he went out to America, he was working with Chris Brown and Trey Songz, all these rappers and singers, and then he got the Hustle Gang thing. That was basically for me as well.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Oh, you meant to be a part of that deal?
Yeah, I was a part of that deal. Do you understand? I was a part of that because remember, Baff looked at it like, them time, remember, my buzz is kind of crazy at that point. So he's looking at, you know what, it's not just like, because remember, like, there's a lot of music people didn't hear. People just heard the road stuff. They didn't hear the girl songs and the commercial songs, the songs that could have been really, they never heard that stuff. So he knew that this is a mad, complete package with this guy kind of thing. Do you understand? Yeah. Remember, he's grown up with me as well. Remember, he knows, you know what I mean? Like, especially road-wise, and even just the way he looked at it, again, he looked at his thing like, this is someone that I can kind of trust to deal with him as well. Remember, enough guys were good and had buzzes, but you can't take them in a meeting, you can't take them nowhere, they ain't got no sense. He looked at it like, this is, because that's how he said, like, listen, I need you to, even more so, to even indirectly look after Chip as well. Do you understand? You go over there, Chip's going to be in America, I want you to be there with him as well. Remember,
did you have a relationship with Chip at that time?
I knew we were cool. I can't say I was friends with him, but I was cool. Remember, he's very young to me, innit? Do you understand? I've always kind of liked him. Remember, he's always had manners and he's a good youth. Do you understand? I've always liked him.
I like his character.
I remember at the time, I'm somewhere else, innit? So we couldn't have been friends. It would have been impossible to be friends, but I respected him. I liked him. He was a good youth. Like I said, I respected different things. And I like the fact that he was going to college. Yeah. He had manners. You can see he's intelligent. He's got a good, like, every time you see me, bear respect. And I liked him. So I was happy to kind of go over and say, you know what, I kind of even want to go there more to look after. I don't want to go over there and bad him up and deal with him a certain way. Like, if I'm over there, remember them times, a lot of our people from London, like Ratty, certain people, they're going to America as well. Everyone's developing relations over there as well with Jeezy and other people as well. So, and that we was kind of developing something over there already. So I thought, you know what, let's do it together kind of thing, as a Tottenham thing. Yeah. I've kind of delayed the deal because them time I weren't really hungry for the money. The money wasn't right. Yeah. And between me and you, it's like, I feel bad for Chip at that time because he didn't have, the deal was, for me it was horrible. Maybe for him it was good, but for me, was someone that kind of had an understanding. Remember, I was studying music business and law business because I always wanted to be a label owner anyway and be a manager. I wanted to go into the other side of it. I didn't want to just be an artist. So I was studying music law, I was studying contracts. I understood it more than he thought understood it. And another joke was like, he's going to laugh if he hears this. You know, I told him as well. Astaghfirullah. Basically, yeah, this is a joke as well. It's a joke as well. But I don't want to say it in a way, in a bad way. But again, it's good so people understand what really goes on behind the scenes in certain situations. But again, remember them times we're dealing with certain things, powers and whatever. So there's something we've done before we go where someone basically, if I go in a meeting with you, you can't lie.
Yeah.
So we've basically done that before we got in the meeting. So Bass basically told us things he shouldn't have told us, if that makes sense. About everything. He's basically told us all the ins and outs to everything. And he's basically, like, if you want someone to sign a deal, you don't, that's why I didn't take that. So people might think, why didn't he take it? I more took it because he told me too much. Not knowing what we done.
Okay. So you actually took the deal, yeah?
No, I didn't take it.
Okay.
I didn't take it because, again, he told me too much.
Okay. So
do you understand? He didn't tell me what he should have told me. If he told me what he should have told me, I probably would have took it right there, but he told me too much. Do you understand? I'm not going to say anything, but he told me the intricacies of Chip's situation. He told me intricacies to my situation, where it looked amazing. Remember, like, I'm on the road, whatever. He's come to me. Remember, I've never had a album out. I've never really done, I haven't really done anything. I've just done bare road DVDs. I've got my mixtape out. But he's telling me, boy, I've got a deal for you. You're going to go to America. You're going to work with Diddy. You're going to work with this one. You're going to work with that one. You're going to work with T.I. It's with Universal Records. It's this. I'm thinking, this is mad. But then he's telling me everything else that comes with it. The breakdowns. Because remember, in my mind, I know how much things cost. So when he's saying, even up in the deal, he's saying the deal's broke down into all these sections. So like maybe the videos cost this much, that cost this much. So I'm saying, brother, I only want this. I've got the bread for all of this. I can cover the videos. I can cover this. I can cover all this stuff that's bread. Any bread argument I can cover. But I can't cover plugging in stations and plugging on TV. I can't cover that. So you do that. We've got the, remember, it's me and Ruthless Records. Remember, that's like, he's like my brother. So we're partners. So we've got the means, not just bread wise, but we've got resources to do. So I'm saying, listen, I don't need that because I know, remember, I know a video them ties cost $5,000 minimum, maximum for a good video.
For a good video, yeah.
In them deals, they're charging $25,000. But I know that you're going to get an intern to film it. You're going to get,
and they charge
you're going to rent the camera,
grand.
you're going to do that, you're going to cost you like $2,000 or something.
And they're taking
but you're taking me $25,000. And that's 3 videos.
Yeah.
Or I made 2 videos. You're saying this about publishing and internet market or whatever. I know that's someone managing my Facebook account or MySpace account. I'm thinking, what? So I'm going to pay someone that X amount of, nah, I don't want all of this.
So you knew.
And obviously other things he's saying, and again, like one thing, he's good. See, Buffy's good people. And he did a lot for, see, one thing I think I said that how their thing kind of fizzled because business is still business, but he doesn't realize what he done for him behind the scenes. Like, my man survived for a long time because of Buff. Okay. Remember, with Buff came a lot of other people. Yeah. Even down to me having that kind of indirect, you don't know, I kind of had a little love for him because it's like, you're Buff's little brother, so you're my little brother. Yeah. Do you understand? I don't know you from nowhere. Like, I know you off the strength of, it's Buff, so I would, to the point where I would have backed him. If someone tried to trouble him, I would have jumped up for him. Yeah, do you understand? Off the strength of my man. So people always look at it like, because of what's on the paper, but you're forgetting that my man really took you in. But that's neither here or there. But again, long story short, that's happened. I've put it on ice. I said, you know what? I'm gonna come back to this. Yeah. Because in my mind, it's like I haven't finished doing all the things I can do before I take a deal anyway. I said, at the end of the day, you're talking about all this stuff. I've got the bread. I've basically done videos. I remember I had videos, like proper top quality videos done that I can put on Channel U. I can get on MTV Base. I've got links for these things already. So I'm thinking, I'm gonna do X, Y, Z. So when I come back for the deal, it's 10 times better than this.
You basically had the mentality like you ain't trying to be no one's worker.
Nah. Look, I've never been a worker. Remember, I've never even on the road. I've never even taken consignment. I've never been a worker ever.
Of course, yeah.
My first job in my whole life was in Saudi Arabia. So when I started practicing. So I've never ever really had a proper job.
You're gonna scrutinize the figures and
exactly. Do you understand? It has to make sense. So, but remember, a month later, Ramadan's come. I remember I've already come to Islam, and I'll tell you how I come to Islam.
That's what I want to know. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically that's the end of the road in terms of the music, where like people don't understand that. People think they know what was going on. They think they know, okay, but he gave up this, but you have no idea what I really gave up. Yeah. I've just never shouted about it. Okay. I don't think I've ever really gone in an interview or nothing and really spoke about it because again, I left it because it's wrong. Like, it could have been way bigger than that. I still would have left it. It could have been 100 mil. I still would have left it. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's like that moment I had with Allah in Ramadan, nothing could have changed my mind. Like when you learn about Jannah, when you learn about the hellfire, when you learn about certain things in detail, like I don't know, you know what I mean? There's a lecture, there's a famous lecture a lot of us kind of learned when we first started. It was called Tour of Jannah.
Okay.
A lot of us in them days, we all heard that lecture, and it changed a lot of our lives because it was like detailed. Like it's like basically the way the lecture was that you walk into Jannah and it's taking you on a tour, so you can literally close your eyes and it's like you're imagining everything. Do you understand? So it's like for me, it's like if I'm gonna gamble with this, just for this. Do you understand?
Just to put into context, some views are not Muslim.
Yeah.
So I want to put into context for them.
Jannah's paradise, it's heaven.
Paradise, yeah. But so you're on the music thing now.
Yeah.
You're trying to be serious about it.
Yeah.
But now you're Muslim as well.
Yeah. So like, well I'll explain. So it makes sense because a lot of people, again, like I got a lot of stick at that time because people thought, right, this guy is Muslim and rare, but they don't understand the dynamics of my Islam. But I'd explain it so they understand why I was kind of keeping up with certain things at the time. But anyway, what would you say?
So basically, for the viewers, music in our religion is not permissible.
No.
And rap music is a whole different subject.
Yeah,
because of look, put the music subject to one side. In our religion, like glorifying certain things. So, for example, glorifying drug dealing, knife crime, gun crime. You can't glorify things like that.
Glorifying and especially exposing as well. Exposing your sins as well. Do you understand? So, and calling people to evil as well. Do you understand?
Exactly. Calling people to drug dealing. Calling them to to do evil. Be promiscuous and stuff like that.
Yeah, XYZ. Yeah.
So you're in a situation. You're in the music industry. You're Muslim. So what happens, like the transition from there to there? Like you just said now that there's things people don't know. So start from there.
All right. So to give it more context, before as a Muslim, I could say I've always been like a spiritual person, always. And even like from the church days as a kid, I remember like where, again, they would call me like a little devil in the church because I wouldn't pray to Jesus. They would say that, why didn't you pray to Jesus? I say, I'm not praying to him. I love him. I want to be like him, but I'm only praying to God. So I've always had a very strong relationship with God. You understand? I didn't call him Allah at that time, but it's always been God. And you have to remember as well, I've always been a very solitude person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I've always had like a weird friendship with God. Remember, I'm by myself a lot, so I'm talking to God a lot. I've always had a quite close relationship with God. When my best friend got killed, when I was like 18, it kind of set me off the rails kind of thing for a little bit. Do you understand? For like, say like a couple months, because it hit me bad. How did he get killed?
He
got stabbed.
Okay. He
got stabbed. But again, his situation is sad because obviously in hindsight, it's like he's just another sad story in a sense where he was a good person, probably one of the best people I've ever known. But in that time, we were oppressors, innit? Like we were doing things we shouldn't be doing to people.
Of course.
And again, he kind of did something to someone a bit too many times. Even though the guy wasn't an idiot as well, from what I know. I don't know him personally, but he wasn't an idiot or whatever. And he was even telling my man, basically getting people to say, tell him to allow me. He wasn't allowing him, and then obviously he retaliated, and that's the end of the story. Do you understand? But he kind of died for me to live, if that makes sense, because obviously there was a time where I kind of went off the rails, but it got to a point where it hit me. It was like, you know what? Like, I remember his funeral was kind of empty. Remember, he's very well known, but enough people didn't come to his funeral. But I know because enough people was kind of happy he was gone because he was a problem, innit?
Okay.
So it kind of hit me like, you know what, man, I can't guide like that, I need to be better than this. And obviously I just had a mad spiritual journey from that point, from Christianity to, ancient religions, to Kabbalah, to voodoo, to Scientology, everything, to Egyptology, to anything you can name. Like I'm saying, I can't think of something I really left out, to be fair. Down to Luciferian religion, down to the actual, and again, and I think this is what hit me even more so when I made that transition. A lot of people don't realize that when you have an understanding of what the Luciferian religion really is, you're very mindful of what industries you go into, because these things are governed by these people that follow these religions. And it's not people that are like these emo people or like people that drink blood, because they have a different understanding of who Lucifer is. So even us as Muslims, we understand that Lucifer or Iblis was a jinn. It wasn't a fallen angel. He was a jinn that was very close to the angels, was a very righteous jinn that fell from, you could say, fell from grace because he disobeyed Allah. He disobeyed God, and he basically waged war with Adam and his children, us as human beings. In long story short, do you understand? But what you'll find that there's another side of the story where Lucifer's basically telling his followers that, listen, I loved you. I wanted you to be like the angels. I want you to be powerful and to know everything and to be free. Do you understand? Like Allah or God, it was a tyrant. He wanted you to follow him and be a slave. And do you understand? This is the story that he's telling them. So when you're hearing about people worship Lucifer, you're not understanding what story they've been told.
Okay.
A lot of people understand. That's why a lot of people follow Lucifer that you would never expect. Good people, because they understand the story from the other side, where it's like, you know what?
Okay.
Lucifer was basically trying to help us and trying to guide us to be supreme beings. It's the same. And we understand it from the Quran because that's what he told Adam, that he wants you to be like the angels. Yeah. You eat from this, you will become like the angels.
He lied.
Do you understand? But this is what he's telling his people. That's why even, I don't know, go into conspiracy theories, do you understand? But again, even when you look at the Apple, on the Apple phones, there's a chunk bitten out of it because again, it's that whole concept of biting into unlimited knowledge. Because you have to remember, when you have that phone, the whole world's basically in your hand. You get any type of knowledge you want from that phone. It's the whole concept of biting out of the Apple to access this
that's deep.
sea of knowledge. But with this knowledge, there's some bad knowledge and there's good knowledge. Do you understand? So I'm not trying to go into it, but again, that was one of the reasons why I was so skeptical about staying into it. Because remember, at the time, I wasn't really so hung up on it being halal and haram. It was more to do with the industry. And I knew that me being in it, I still had to be someone that I didn't want to be. So it wasn't even about halal and haram. I was still listening to music at the time. I was still, you know what I'm trying to say? I didn't really let go of it in that sense, but it was more that I don't want to be this person no more. Do you understand? So that whole spiritual journey was happened. And again, I don't want to go into too much now, but I don't know if you're aware of what happened in South London, say the early 2000s, where a lot of men come to Islam, but they kind of come to Islam on a bit of a deviated understanding.
On a road thing,
a deviated understanding of Islam. And again, like, obviously, it's something that's kind of been rectified to a good extent from what I can see now. Alhamdulillah, a lot of them have kind of come to a better understanding of Islam. But again, you can't blame them when these are the worst people on the road. They come to Islam and they've been given different pockets of things that are not in context, if that makes sense. But I kind of fell not victim, but I was exposed to it in a bad way, because again, it's like the people I was around were kind of arguing with these people. Do you understand? And remember, I wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I'm not going to go into stories or whatever, but again, my people was not having none of it.
Yeah.
So I had a kind of hatred for Muslims, because I thought at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know your religion, but I know this ain't the religion. I know you're not supposed to be peaceful people. You pray to one God. Like, I remember we look at like an Asian thing. Like when we see the Asian, when we see those humble Asian people and Somali people, that's Muslims to us. Like so when we saw this whole rude boy Muslim man talking about get down, lay down, and if you don't, I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And on top of that, remember, we were headaches. So it's like they were doing it to certain people, but they couldn't do it to us. So you have even less respect, because like, are you picking and choosing who you want to get down, lay down? No one ain't telling me to get down, lay down. Do you understand? Not directly. And I'm open non-Muslim at the time. Open. And I'm not open non-Muslim. Remember, these times, I'm on the whole right knowledge, like Egyptology, I'm a god. I'm saying crazy things. Even one of my mixtapes called Mortal Gods, because I'm saying I'm a god, and I'm on that type of thing. Like I'm on this whole like old ancient African things or whatever. I'm saying I'm a god. So I'm not just saying I'm a non-Muslim. I'm saying I'm a god. But no one ain't doing nothing to me. So it's even like, it's not like it's like it was a hatred, but it was a lack of respect. I thought, like, you lot, bring that to me. Do you understand?
Yeah. Some of the people wasn't.
I get it though, but me personally, I get it now, because when I look back at it, there's certain people I did kind of come in contact with, but I think they kind of saw something in me as well, in a sense, you know what, this guy just doesn't know about this. And when he does know about it, then he's gonna. And I know there's one brother as well, like, you know what I'm saying, may Allah bless him. I had a deep conversation with him when I was in that time of my life as well. And I believe he kind of took time with me, if that makes sense. The brother, I don't know if you know, but I don't want to even say his name, but he's a known brother. He's known brother from South London, whatever, but he had a good conversation with me. So even I didn't rate it, it kind of made me have a different outlook on it. I thought, you know what, like, it does make sense, but it's just not for me, kind of thing right now at that time. And we kind of lost contact, because he done a long sentence straight after. So basically what's happened now, I've met my cousin and he's just come out of prison. but he's come out of prison on the correct Islam. Not obviously the full correct Islam, but he's come out on the basis of Islam, based, not this whole get down, lay down. You can oppress non-Muslim. He hasn't come out with an understanding. He's come out based upon the basic principles of Islam. So when he's come, I'm like, you going mad or something? What do you mean you're flipping? What do you mean you're Muslim? Like, I'm going like I'm kind of pissed with him because I know Muslims, but even my Muslim friends, they're terrible people. Do you understand? So them being Muslim doesn't even affect me. He's actually trying to practice. He's wearing a thobe and he's trying to be a proper Muslim. Do you understand? I even got, even my friends that are Muslim around the time, I don't even look at them as Muslims.
Yeah, of course.
So I said, like, you're going mad or something. What do you mean? I'm like, not to put the point where like I don't really want to come around me no more.
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, Islam is not what these guys are doing. Islam is that we believe in one God. We only pray to Allah alone. One God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the most high, whatever you want to call it, that's who we pray to.
Yeah.
We accept all of the prophets. We don't choose ones. We don't pick and like, we accept all of them. But Muhammad is the last one. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, may peace be upon him. We accept all of the revelations, the books that come down. But we don't hold on to all of them because they've been corrupted and they've been changed. We only hold on to the Quran. So basically anything that goes with the Quran, we accept it. If it doesn't go with the Quran, we reject it. But we accept that they came. Yeah. The Bible, the Torah, the Psalms. We accept all of these revelations that come down. We believe in angels. We believe in the Day of Judgment, and we believe in the qadr, the decree of God. Yeah. I was angry. I'm thinking like, how am I dealing with all these Muslim men all these years? And no one told me this. Because this is what I'm looking. Remember, I'm going through all of these religions, but I'm coming to brick walls every time.
Yeah, I understand.
Because like, this sounds good, this is interesting, that makes sense, but what's your understanding of God? One, people understand God as a black man with an afro. Other people understand him as energy or the universe, and I'm not buying all that.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So when he said that to me, I'm kind of like, I'm a bit pissed. Like, hold on, how come no one flipping told me this? Yeah. This is what I believed in my whole life. So I'm practicing Islam privately for like a whole year. Like I'm literally, I've got a book on Islam now. I've learned how to pray. Remember, my name is Bashir. I'm born with a Muslim name.
Oh, your name is Bashir?
My name is Bashir. I'm born with that name. Do you understand? So I'm going to the mosque. I'm basically doing it by myself. I'm doing bare booky things though. Like I'm praying in the toilet with my boxers on, and I'm doing bare booky things. I don't know nothing. I'm basically teaching myself how to do fight. I'm teaching myself, but I'm not doing it probably because no one really knows. I'm not Muslim. In my mind, I want Islam, but I don't want to be a Muslim. I don't rate Muslims.
Okay.
I just want Islam.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing to do with Muslims. Nothing to do with them. So like, not gonna say like say maybe 10 months. Like a long time has gone past. And remember that my best friend at the time, he's Muslim, but he's not practicing. But his mum, I'm giving his mum salam by now, and little bits and pieces happen, whatever. So she see me going to the mosque, but then obviously he's told, he said, Mum, he's not even Muslim, He's just like, he's a madman. He's going mosque, he's doing everything, but he's not even Muslim. So she's gotten to him one day like, this, are you going crazy? Like, what's wrong with you? Take your shahada, like, what are you doing, kind of thing. Like, you're doing all this for no reason, basically. But I've said to her, okay, Mum, don't worry. Tonight, I'm going to pray istikhara. And she's even laughing, because remember, istikhara is like a proper thing for Muslims. Obviously, for those who don't know, it's a prayer for guidance in any situation. Even if you're going to buy a phone or a house or get married, you pray istikhara for counsel from Allah.
You knew about that before you were Muslim?
I knew about it before. Do you understand? So I'm telling her I'm going to pray istikhara. Allah is going to give me a dream. If Allah tells me to do it, I'll do it.
Seriously?
Because at this point, I'm doing this all the time. When I've got situations, I'm praying istikhara before I go to sleep. I'm going to sleep in wudu. I'm praying istikhara, and I'm literally having dreams. Yeah. I've got situations going on in my life. I'm literally having vivid dreams from this process. So that night now, I've done it now. I've gone to sleep now. A lot of things happen in the dream, but the crux of the dream is that I've heard a voice above the house. Yeah. Saying like, what more do you want? Like, you're Muslim, what do you want? And I'm laughing like, I know. Like, I know.
In the dream?
Yeah, in the dream, the same night.
Yeah.
And then the next day I took shahada, like officially. But remember, I'm taking shahada every day. I'm praying. So I'm basically saying the shahada. I'm doing it anyway, but that was the official point of taking the shahada. But again, what I wanted to make clear with a lot of people, it's the same thing that we've said to even our own friends, and a lot of people understand that when you enter Islam, there should be a process that's followed, because people way better than us had an easier process than some of these Muslims in this day and age. Reason being, some people take shahada today, tomorrow they're wearing hijab, tomorrow they're growing their beard, they're doing extreme things from the first day. And it's a beautiful thing. If they can do it and they can maintain it, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, never done this.
Of course.
They accepted Islam based upon the belief, and they carried out certain actions when it was legislated upon it. Even until the prayer was not even legislated straight away.
Yeah.
It was more to do with the faith. They accepted the faith, and what they were commanded to do was perfect their character. That's what they were commanded to do first.
Yeah.
They accepted monotheism, but after that they had to perfect their character. They had to maintain the ties between their families. They had to give the rights to their neighbors. They had to stop doing certain things that was acts of oppression on people. These were the first things that they were told to do. Yeah. And people don't do that in this day and age. They do all the other things before they even learn how to say please and thank you. Do you understand?
That's true.
So what happened with me is that I've come to Islam, but remember, I'm around people that are worse than non-Muslims as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So I want to leave my girlfriend. I want to stop doing this. I want to stop doing that. They're telling me, no, you can't do that. And I get what they're saying because they didn't want me to rush or whatever. Yeah. But again, I was around people that were very, I don't want to say active. They were some of the most active people. Yeah. Do you understand? From the Turks, from the Africa. You understand? I'm from Tottenham, so you know what type of like, you know what I'm trying to say. And they're like, you know what they were on in Islam. So these are my examples of Islam. Do you understand? So it's a very, 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 very deviant understanding. But for me, like even like Blade had an interview one time and he spoke on me, and it was beautiful because it's stuff that I kind of overlooked myself. Yeah. But one thing he said in it is that no matter what we was doing, he would always pray. And one thing anyone would tell you, remember there was like, I'd say 2 to 3 years leading up to when I started practicing fully, when I left the music thing. But I never left the Ramadan to the point where, like I say, like stuff for like, even unto the fasting in Ramadan, it might have been some bookie fasting where I'm breaking the fast with music or breaking the fast with that's how we're breaking it. We don't know better. Like, okay, how are we going to break it? Turn the music on. That's how you break your fast, or do something haram to break it when it's time to break the fast, or we're doing mad things in the night time, but we're still maintaining the fast in Ramadan. So I'd never left a Ramadan ever. Every Ramadan come, anyone knows I wouldn't do no music, wouldn't do certain things in Ramadan, especially when I'm fasting. I wouldn't do it. Salah, to the best of my beat, I never really left the salah. There's times when obviously it was shake, but again, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, even if I pray once a day, it's good because I don't know that you have to do it 5 times. I'm never really missing Jumu'ah. There's so much things I'm not missing, if that makes sense. I'm observing so much, but in my mind, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, if that makes sense, until I knew better. You understand? But again, like I'm saying, is that a lot of people don't realize that you need that time to develop basic characteristics of the Muslims before you can execute certain things. Because if you're not praying and you're not fasting, you can't be expected to leave weed or to leave girls or to leave
100%.
Selling drugs. You have to maintain certain things because that's the way it was prescribed to the people that were even better than us.
100%.
They didn't have to leave alcohol until they started praying. They didn't have to leave fornication until they started praying.
That's true.
There were certain things that was put in place first, and then everything else after that was made easier. So it's another advice to the viewers as well, that if it's something that you're thinking about doing, like, don't ever put any pressure on yourself, because again, people way better than you had a way easier process to get into that point where they became quote unquote practicing Muslims.
Of course, yeah, it's true, man.
It's a proper journey.
Sometimes don't overburden
yourself. And it's definitely not overnight. And the worst thing you can do is do it overnight. Because like I said today, it's the analogy of the cake. Like a cake tastes good. If you eat the whole cake at once, you get sick. You vomit. Yeah. You have to take a slice, and you have to take another slice and another slice. And then before you know it, do you understand? So while obviously, so now that was like the transition period, innit? So going through that and the music, then at what point did you decide that's it, enough's enough? And what did you do next? But like I say, that was the point. But what happened again for me is that, again, it's sad to say this, but what happened to me, I believe happens to a lot of people. You understand? And maybe you'll say the same thing as well. I honestly believe that every Muslim has that moment. But if you don't make the right decision in that moment, sometimes you never get that moment again. And for me, it was a moment that I can't explain it, but it was like a shout in your head. It's like it's the only way you can describe it is like a shout. When it's like You know this is wrong.
I know.
What are you gonna do?
100%. Yeah.
What are you gonna do now? And me personally, I believe, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but I believe that because Allah is the most merciful, everyone gets that moment. So no one can't say that I haven't had that moment when I actually believed it was wrong and I knew it was wrong and I had a choice. The difference is that with us, like with me, I always say this as well, like I'm not a good person, but I've always been someone that kind of makes good choices. It doesn't mean I'm a good person. Internally, I'm probably the worst person. I still have the same desires and the same thoughts, and you know what I mean? I still have certain capabilities, but I'm just someone that is able to make good decisions where I know that, you know what, I want to do that, or I don't like that, or whatever, but it's not the right thing to do. Do you understand? This is the right thing to do. So even if it's difficult, I know that I'm going to benefit from it. The same way going to gym is difficult in the beginning, but when it's all said and done, there's an outcome. It's like going uni or whatever it is, whatever you do in life, it's difficult, but the happiness is long lasting after, as opposed to doing something wrong. It feels good in that moment,
100%.
but the regret sometimes is like a lifetime moment. It's like Allah said, you know what, yeah, like, you know what I mean? You can take it, but you might not be able to turn back from it. And one hadith that I always remember, it's my favorite hadith up until now. Is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man taraka shay'an lillah awadakhallahu khayran minh." And it means that if the one who leaves something for the sake of Allah, he replaces it with better. And someone told me that at that moment, and it proper resonated with me. I said, you know what? I'm leaving all of this.
You know, just to touch on something you said. You know, one of the most dangerous things on the road is ego.
100%.
That's one of the most dangerous things on the road. You know,
100%.
I've seen people let their egos get in front of them and create a madness just out of their egos, and some madness is going on to this day because 100%. They could let go their egos, man. Now we could sit and talk all night. You know, like someone like 100%. When you're telling certain names and already names are coming in my head. You know, like yeah, it's my man and whatever. But ultimately, like wallahi, akhi, yeah, this is from my own personal experiences. Like I'll give you an example. You know, the first time I saw a DVD for you guys, I think Blade was in there as well. You guys had watches on and stuff. It's old. It's an old video or something. I don't know if you remember it. You guys got watches on and you like doing stuff on the camera. Do you remember that?
Obviously, there's a bunch of things. I can't pinpoint, but I can. So that's what he was doing.
So I remember when I watched that video of you lot in the video, I was like, these lot are not rappers. They're roadmen. You know, you see, like going back. You know, see the music industry. If you were from certain neighborhoods on the music thing, and not on the road thing, there were certain people protecting you. They were paying certain people. You know, 100%. But 100%. When I saw your videos, I was like, yo, these men on the road, that they're putting in work. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And you see, like, when you're a personality like that, your ego is big as well.
100%.
So I mean, your ego's hurt very quickly. You know?
Because again, it's your safety net as well. Your name is your safety net. Your name is the thing. Like you know this already. Your name is the thing that, like I say, you like a man takes a man's things and you say, listen, tell my man, I said run back the things. Or you know what I'm trying to say. Or you walk in a room and that's my man, and so you know that your reputation is your currency.
It's sacred to you.
It's your currency. It's a big deal. So I get why people hold on to it. But again, one thing I just believe is that there's ways to manage it better.
100%.
Because even as a Muslim, I think there's certain things you should have pride for, 100%. Especially when it comes to your wife, your reputation as a good person. You should never let someone talk down your name in a bad way. Doesn't mean you have to be a resort to violence, but you should always defend your honor in certain things. You should defend the honor of your family, of your friends, or your brothers. Don't let someone sit there and talk bad about your brothers. There's certain things where you have to have a bit of pride in, but it should never be something that ultimately destroys you. I don't think your destruction should never come from your own hands. That's what people are doing. Do you understand?
So you know, for me personally, I say this like honestly from a personal opinion. That reputation, that road reputation. You know, I have two reputations. One's for like people say, he's, you know, inshallah they say, he's a good brother. You know, but then you have that road back in the day thing. Yeah, that's like a burden around my neck. 100%. It's like a burden around my neck. I'm gonna tell you a lot of stories, but no exaggeration. About 3 months ago, this is not even in my knowledge. There's an issue going on the streets. Somebody's robbed someone else for £60,000. I don't know if it was cash or product. I don't know what it was. Remember, I don't know what's going on. One individual has phoned another individual and said to that individual, it's my money, like mine. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm carrying on with my everyday life. I get a phone call from someone who I don't really know. You know, however they got the number, however they got it. And I've picked up the phone and I said, "What's up?" He's like, "Bro, I ain't got no problems with you." And I don't know what he's talking about. I was like, "Bro, what are you on about?" He goes, "Bro, I don't have no problem with you. I just want you to know I didn't take it and blah." I am absolutely confused, you know? And obviously I got to the bottom of it, so someone's basically used my name. But I was so upset. Like, bro, I'm trying to like run away from that life, you know, that you understand? And you're trying to drag me back into a situation I have no knowledge of. I could be walking down the road and someone just busts my head. You know, like, it's people, you understand what I mean? So that, I feel for me personally, like a burden around my neck. You know, just to finish off, there's a question I want to ask you. Your journey now, you know, you've been on the road, you know, you've done the transition. Alhamdulillah, then you lived in Saudi Arabia for many, many years.
Yeah.
So you were completely away, like completely away. How does your life feel now to what it did, for example, when you were 20 years old?
Again, to be fair, bro, it always goes back to that same hadith I said before. من ترك شيئا لله أودخ الله خيرا منه. You leave something for the sake of Allah, He gives you better. And when I say that, it's very heartbreaking when I see certain people hold on to certain things that, again, like I say, it's destroying them, bro. It's destroying them. It's destroying their people. Do you understand? Like, if you see my DM, it's horrible, because a lot of these people that people are rating and they want to be like, they're crying in my DM, saying they want to change. They wish they could be different. They want to start practicing. Even they're not even Muslim, but they just want to change. They just want to change. And one thing I could say is that nothing is easy, and it's like people, you know, they don't want to understand the concept that, you know, if something is good and if something is worth sacrificing, then, like I say, it's like there's always going to be a benefit. It doesn't happen today, but there's going to be a benefit. And when I say that, people have to understand, it's like I've left something now that people, quote unquote, it's like a dream come true in it, to be a famous rapper, to be a millionaire, to go to America and, you know what I mean, to live a certain lifestyle. But as a Muslim, do you understand what it's like to live in Medina? Like, you know, when you're looking at the TV every day thinking, I'm not even going to visit this place. You do a course for 3 months. You understand? 2 months, sorry, two months. I had a fake degree that I ripped up because I didn't want to lie for the rest of my life. And then it's like,
that's deep.
The first job I got in my life was in Saudi Arabia, in Medina of all places. After that, I'm living in Mecca for years. Do you understand? I'm doing things. I don't want to even like go into the list, bro. But like, if people understood my life over there, it's literally a dream. It's like a dream. Do you understand? Because again, it's like, forget even the religious aspect. Just living near beaches, living near good people. Do you understand? Having meeting different people, helping people. Remember I was teaching over there for a long time, and I had a good situation because obviously a lot of people, they go there and they work for companies, so they have to be stuck with the company. But I had a sponsorship from one of the royal family.
Okay.
So I could kind of move around and just kind of live my life. And you know what I'm saying? You kind of get away with things. Yeah. You get a bit of privileges over there, because when they see my ID card, they see the royal family on the on the ID. So I got away with a lot of, I can do a lot of things over there, if that makes sense. I had a good time over there. My daughter was born in Mecca, and her name's Khadija as well. So she's Khadija from Mecca. I'm some old rude boy from Tottenham. But my daughter's born in Mecca, Khadija. She could have been Chantel from Tottenham. Mashallah. Now have a TikTok twerking or something. Now, mashallah, she wants to be like Khadija bint Khuwaylid, like the Prophet, the wife of the Prophet Muhammad. Her whole thing is, I want to be just like her. I want to be a businesswoman. She's praying. She's an amazing little girl. She's my best friend. She's my life, my heart. She's everything to me.
That's deep.
Do you understand? And I'm saying, but again, people don't understand that. They look at the finished product. They don't realize what happened before that. My first marriage, I lost twin girls just before they were going to be born. I've lost that. But look what I've gained. I've gained a girl that's amazing. I've had so much shaky situations. One thing we don't realize as well, that when we come to Islam, we try to do things that are alien to us, especially when it comes to marriage. A lot of us rush into marriages and we do a lot of rash things. Again, we're trying to be good Muslims. Not a bad thing. We're trying to be good Muslims. So we fall into funny situations. But it's like even the Boxer blend situation. It's a beautiful story. Even what happened with this situation. Like someone like alhamdulillah, my wife now. I was aware of her before, but again, I was going through things in my life and coming back to the country and settling, so I didn't really pursue her. Found out she was looking to get married, couple, whatever. But what's so beautiful about even this situation is that
these are blenders.
Yeah, because obviously if people check out Box of them. We've got the story on it as well about how it started.
I'm gonna put the link in the description.
Yeah, how it started. I was in China at the end of 2019. I think it was 2019. I came back within about a week. My appendix ruptured. I didn't know it ruptured. I thought I just had a bad stomachache. I thought it was like gastritis or something. Yeah. So I read it for like a whole week. By the 5th day, I thought I was gonna die. Gone to hospital now. They said it's gastritis and they sent me home. So this is festered for another 2 days. Mondays come. If this was back in the day, I would have just took the medicine and tried to ride it. But obviously I'm a civilian. I have to be responsible. I said, nah, let me go to the hospital, doctor. Let me know what the real problem is. Something just told me. I never would have. I hate hospital. That's why it got so bad. Cause I don't like going to hospitals. Cause I was in mad pain. Imagine my appendix is ruptured, and I've read it for the whole week. He's gone there. He's pushed it. The thing's punched back. Like I said, listen, your appendix is ruptured. Go quickly to get surgery. I've gone there. They've done it. They've even come to me and said, "Listen, I don't know how you're alive, because this is the worst case we've ever seen." The whole stomach was stomach was infected. They basically didn't they had to do open surgery. Yeah. They tried to do the keyhole. It wasn't enough. They had to proper cut me open. Oh, wow. And what's so bad, I don't want to backtrack, but you know what's so bad about that situation? Yeah, it's crazy. And I want to say it because it's important. I don't like to talk about it, but it's important to say it that I've done a lot of things, bro, and I'm not proud of, I mean, it goes, when it's life, you harm people. Definitely. But everyone I've harmed, I can sleep, except for one person. There's one person I did something to, and I shouldn't have really done it to him. Do you understand? Because it was a bad situation. Like I say, you're on a move and it kind of goes wrong. Definitely, you give him a tap in it. Do you understand? Yeah. And I tapped him, but again, the man could have died. It was like, I hit him in his stomach, and he could have died. Do you understand? And it always burdened me. I thought, you know what? Like, as far as I'm concerned, like, we don't, let's say, put down to karma, but we believe that, again, things will come back. You have to be accountable, especially when you oppress people, you hurt people.
From what your hands put forth.
Yeah, you understand? So my whole life, the whole years have gone past, it niggles me from time to time, innit? But imagine the same place where that happened to the person, the same place I've got this big scar on my stomach now, where they've had to open me up and I'm there rubbed out in a hospital, and it's so mad. The person that stuff for like even lined up that situation come to visit me in the hospital, and I said, bro, look what happened when man done that to my man. And this whole time, nothing's happened. And again, as far as I'm concerned, no one ain't got no reason to tap me because I'm not on the road. But look at me now, rubbed out, nearly dead.
Could be like,
and it's come, like it's come back, it's like a purification. So it kind of hit me that way, like, you know what, you have to be careful what you put forward with your hands, because you never know how it's going to come. Remember, it can come back, to affect your children, to affect 100%. Because even that's your reputation, bro. Remember, like there's certain things that you have to be mindful of, and not really, especially for sisters. It's like there's certain things you do that it might not really affect you, but it might affect your, like, even imagine you go to, like, you want your son or your daughter wants to go and marry into another family, and it's like, this guy's got a bad reputation. No, I don't want to marry my kids to this person, or like I say, so much things can happen because of things you put forward with your hands. And I've seen the effect of it in a good way now. Like, all the good things I've kind of put forward now, so much doors open. And again, like, even into this situation now, the person I've told to basically hook up the situation was my wife's now's neighbor. Yeah. So again, like, she don't mix it, man. It's not one of them type of situations where they're friends, but she knows him because she's known him his whole life. Like, a neighbor, and he's always looked after her. Yeah. And obviously, Masha, she's obviously very beautiful, good woman, always carried herself well. Do you understand? So bare people's always come to him to like, bro, I beg you, hook me up with, like, because no one can't get to her like that. Okay. She's easy to get to, innit? She's a good woman, do you understand? Always carried herself properly, innit? But for me, for some reason, he's hooked me up. So even that, for her, she's like, listen, Mama's never ever brought someone to me. Yeah. Even though enough people have come to him. But and he vouched for you hard, like, listen, my man, if you too, it's good money. Do you understand? So remember, I've had my health issues, so I've come. Remember, like, when these things are on the market, but not this quality. Yeah, okay. I've basically got, you could say, it's like the Rolls Royce of the game. Yeah. But they're out there. I'm not gonna talk bad about any other companies. Yeah. They're still good companies, but mine, in terms of quality, the materials, it's a very good version. Done your research. It's a very good version. So I was aware of these before, and it really helped my health. Because when I remember I was rubbed out for time in the hospital, codeine. I've never taken any type of hard drugs in my life. They put me on codeine. Like I had to withdraw off that. It was a horrible couple months.
Yeah.
My health has gone right down the drain.
Yeah.
So when I've come across this, that's helped me so much. I'm juicing every day. So when I've come across my now wife, she was going through some health issues. Obviously, you know, women, like they deficiency with iron and, you know, they just general health issues because she's very busy and working and not really taking care of herself, just general stress of life, whatever. So I've got her this as a gift. So obviously, you know, us as Muslims, we have to give a dowry as a wedding gift. And a lot of brothers, they give sisters money or they do something. But I said, you know what? I want to do something that's going to empower my wife, because at the end of the day, my wife, she's got a very good career and I don't want to take that away from her. But I want it to be a case of if she ever wants to leave it, I've given her something that is going to replace it. Do you understand? And something that kind of ultimately is going to bring us together, because I believe that with your wife, you should have more than a relationship that's romantic. It should be something that transcends into business if possible. Definitely should be your friend. Do you understand? You should have a lot more with your wife than just romance.
100%.
Because when the romance is done, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, some people have good nights and bad days.
Exactly, that's true. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So something's hit me like, you know what? I'm gonna get you a business for your dowry. Obviously I got her that, you know, still got a little bust down ring and she got patterned and honeymoon and done all that normal stuff. But this was something I said, you know what, this is gonna be something that it's gonna bring us closer as well.
MashaAllah.
And it was all like for her, she could, because obviously this is what I do, is I do branding and I
How long ago was this, sorry?
This basically, from the start, from the idea to actually having the full product done, ready to think, we did it in like a month. Full everything. Do you understand? It launched this year, was it March, and did very well. Like especially for a new business with very little. I didn't even put a lot of money to market in. I just basically let it. It's a test because there's other things I'm launching.
Of course.
I don't want to talk about it too much, but if people follow me, they can see little clues and there's bits and pieces I'm doing now. Do you understand? But with this situation, it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever done, because again, it's like, this was a gift. She's obviously, she's the love of my life. She's my best friend. She's everything to me. Do you understand? She's everything to me. The best, like after Islam and my daughter, she's the best thing. Do you understand? And even like her, even now to like, it's not the way I feel that even like my daughter, like straight away when they met, they fell in love and they're like, my daughter calls her mum. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into my whole situation, but again, people don't realize there's a lot of turbulence that happens with life.
Of course, man.
But I always tell people that every situation is good, and it's something that we know. Even the Qayyum said, like the fear of the believer is strange, because when something good happens, he says Alhamdulillah. When something bad happens, he has patience. Do you understand? So every situation is good for us as Muslims. But again, with this business here, it was so beautiful in a sense that way, you know, like I gave it as a gift initially just to help her health. But he said, you know what better than to have a business that's gonna help the health of everyone. So like for me, it's not even about the money now. When you get them videos from like people and they're saying, listen, my kid don't eat no fruits. They've got health issues, but now they're eating fruits every day because they just love it. It's like a gadget.
Yeah.
They love it. Like it's helped me. Like some people come to you and say, I've lost weight. I feel healthier. Like it's a great gift. That it's proper. There's a lot of blessings in it. But again, it's like, it just shows that when you leave something for the sake of Allah, like you replace it with better. And like, you know, bro, you've been on this road before me. You might not have as much money as before, but
100%.
I guarantee you sleep better.
100%.
I guarantee you still can pull up in a nice car. You can still wear your little. There's like, we ain't really left that lifestyle to an extent.
100%,
Allah still honoured us because we left it with our honour. No one ran us off the road.
100%.
No one ran me out. No one ran you out. Do you understand?
100%.
We left because it was the right thing to do.
We're in the hood right now.
Do you understand?
The hood, this road here, this was our front line.
Do you understand?
You know, so
we left because it was the right thing to do.
The right thing to do. You know, one thing. You know, I asked you a question, and this is really important. You know what it's like being in the Middle East.
Yeah.
You know the experience. The thing that was the most beautiful thing for me in the Middle East, to put some slippers on and walk down the road without doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, in the UK, no one can ever say they've seen me wearing slippers down the road. I wouldn't do it. You know?
Yeah.
Because of, we know, wrong minute, you gotta, But anyway, but being in the Middle East, just looking forward and not looking,
Yeah.
like I said, we know how to take care of ourselves on the road. So your eyes are your protection, on the roadside. So when I went there, it's that peace, that tranquility.
It's unmatched, yes, unmatched.
But
I'll tell you a joke though, yeah? People don't realize that Allah invites you to these places. And for me, again, like, remember, my situation is different because I lived there. I didn't go there just to visit. I lived there. And even the circumstance of me going there was something that is kind of supernatural. It's like, you can say borderline supernatural. It's like how does an old Ruway from Tottenham that's never had a job in his life get his first job in Medina? Teaching. In a school. Like I used to be there laugh. I used to be there teaching and laughing, thinking, you don't even know who's
the teacher.
A couple years ago, you know what I'm saying?
Could you
know
imagine?
what time it was? But I tell you something, bro. People think that I started practicing heavier when I was over there. I was more practicing in England before I left.
Seriously?
I was wearing sandals in England.
MashaAllah.
You could catch me wearing a sandals or putting my head down and wearing my thobe and wearing, like, that's how I was before I left. So for me, again, it was a case of where, like I say, like, I don't advise everyone to do it because there's consequences that can come with that. But for me, it's like, I've never been someone that tries to do something half-hearted, if that makes sense. And I understand that, you know, like, with great risks, there's great rewards. But people don't pull it in the right context. People think the risk is always to go and do a move or to do something. The risk is in doing something right. And you know this, bro. This is the risk, bro.
100%.
You know, like our situation, like, you know, like, man changed. People gotta start jumping at their pram.
100%.
Go broke. Like, you're borderline humiliated now because you can't, you know, you can't drive certain things and you can't do certain things, whatever.
Shaitan, the devil
this is the risk. But look at the rewards, bro. Do you understand?
Yeah, of course.
All I hear, I'll be honest, bro, like, mashallah, tabarakallah, bro. Allahumma barik. Like I say, I remember hearing your name back in the day. And all I hear now, mashallah, he's a good brother. He's a good brother. He's a good brother. He's a good brother. And you know, and like I say, you know where we're coming from. And it's enough to boost up enough. But again, there's categories to this life.
100%.
And Allah put us in a certain category and no one can't take that from us.
100%.
But at the same time, it's like for us to leave that for the sake of Allah, no one can't tell us nothing now.
100%.
This is success. Like no one can't take nothing from you and no one can't take nothing from me because at the end of the day, this is success in my eyes. Where you
100%.
do something that is the right thing to do.
100%.
And that is your moral compass in life, not because it feels good or because it looks good. It's because it's just the right thing to do. Do you understand? And that's one thing that we have to be grateful for, that Allah has had mercy, that He's allowed us to do these things before it's too late. Because everyone's going to have to make that decision. As far as we're concerned, and I'm concerned, that everyone's going to have to submit to Allah.
100%.
And that day when they die, everyone, whether you want to call it God, Jehovah, Allah, you're going to submit to God. You're going to submit.
Of course.
Just don't submit when it's too late.
It's too late, yeah. That's true, man.
Don't submit when it's too late.
You know, like, when I was making the decision to come off the road, you know the devil's going to play with you, innit?
100%.
And the devil was, you know what? The devil was telling me 3 more years. Like 3 more years and you're out, you know?
One more mixtape, one more album.
Do you understand, bro? That would end up maybe
just
in your
do
grave.
this album. Yeah, just do that.
And seriously, I remember I will never forget this. I was driving down the motorway and I was trying to find a justification in my head. I said, oh, if I get married, I'll stop making zina. I'll stop, listening to music. I'll stop smoking cigarettes. But I just carry on the hustling. But then, like that good devil and the angel.
Yeah.
The other side was like, nah, don't get fooled. Like it was, this is so deep to say, to leave the road there was a heartbreak to it. Do you understand? Like, because it makes you think like you're missing something. In reality, you're not really missing nothing, but because you've done something for so long,
exactly,
it's become the norm. So when you
100%, bro, 100%.
you got lock off your friends. And I remember sitting there one night. So what I done, I brought PlayStation just to do something at night, innit? Yeah. And I was to look at the time. Oh, it's 2 a.m. The man must be in the rave, and it's still like play with me, especially when I was new, man. And I was like, I wonder what they're doing, because you gave your whole life to that. But alhamdulillah, when I look back now, I always say to the viewers, I'm not a role model for anyone.
Me neither.
I'm an example of choices not to make. But when I look back now, I'm going to finish with this. I was in the ends earlier. I was coming to do the podcast here. There's a brother I saw that who was he was a rep. He had a rep back in the day. He was a bad boy. Like, he was a bad boy. I saw him, he's smoking Class A drugs. And I stopped for him, innit? Yo, Assalamu alaikum, what's going on? He's like in a real bad place right now. He was shocked that I stopped for him. He was, he couldn't believe, because no one will stop for him no more. But I haven't seen him for years, innit? I said, Assalamu alaikum, be good, how's everything and whatever. And when I look back now and see that carnage, I was a part of that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to answer to Allah for them things there. Do you understand what I mean? So like I said, I never ever regret, because our thing was
and I know what it feels, because again, you have to remember as well, that's the thing what I always try to explain to a lot of these people, that again, they're still quite hung up on the fact that I left the music, and why did he do that, or whatever. They always have the excuse that you could do different type of music, or whatever. But again, it's like, I don't judge none of these people that's in it, because as far as I'm concerned, tomorrow they could be better than me.
Better than me, yeah.
Whatever their situation is, this is between them and Allah. Do you understand? I don't know their mental capacity on how they understand life. It's not for me to determine what stage they're in life and what they should do and what they shouldn't do, because it's their journey. But for me, it's a case that I believe that in life, the least you can do in life is just to be a light in people's life. That's the least you can give to people. Because one thing we understand as Muslims is that charity isn't always from your pocket. It's from your smile. It's from the things you say to people. It's from the way that you make people feel. Do you understand? So I think that it's very important that people understand that the least you can do in this life is to be a light to people. Do you understand? However you do that, whether that's financially, whether that's through a good word, or because again, like, you're in the same situation I'm in, where we're coming from a certain place. I could have dedicated my life to Quran and become a Quran teacher or whatever, or been a sheikh or whatever. But again, for me, it's not about being a role model, but I just want it to be I want it to be known that if anyone feels like I can't do it, I could be an example. Like, what? It's too difficult for me. I'm coming from this place, whatever they say. All the excuse they've got, they just don't have it no more. That's my main, and I've asked Allah for this. I say, listen, Allah, all I want Allah is make me a hujjah, like make me like an evidence on them.
Yeah.
Make me an evidence on these people that they can't use these excuses no more.
100%.
Do you understand? Because again, I will never sit and go like I was the baddest person or the richest person or the strongest person. I was none of that. Do you understand? I will never ever say that. But I was who I was. Do you understand? And it is what it is. I was who I was, and that person was not at the bottom of the food chain. Do you understand? It's as simple as that. That's the most humble way to put it. Do you understand? A lot of the things these people are doing now, we were doing it how many years ago? Do you understand how many years ago we were doing these things? And again, it's not to belittle people, to put people down, but it's to make people understand that, listen, like, it's not easy, but it's always going to be worth it. So don't ever feel like you can't change, or it's not going to be something that it's not for you. Like, you can do it because we've done it. It's as simple as that. And again, we didn't get run off the road. We did it because it's the right thing to do. Again, I'm not a rich man, but alhamdulillah, I travel frequently. I've got an amazing family. I've got an amazing wife. I don't have friends, I've got brothers. I've got my good reputation. I wear what I want, I drive. I'm trying to say? We still have a certain standard of living, but this is not the be and end all of it. The most important thing for me is that I'm living a life that's pleasing to my Lord.
100%.
And I'm a light in people's life. I don't come in people's life, and I'm not that person you have to cross the road for. You're scared, or you don't want to pick up my phone call because I'm going to give you some bad news, or I'm going to bring you to some problem. No, I'm a light. And that's all I really want. And that's the least that people should want to do. You shouldn't want to traverse this world and this life knowing that you just, like you said, there's a trail of destruction behind you. Where you're saying things. I don't want to go into it, but even recently, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, bro. Wallah, it's heartbreaking, because it's like, I get a lot of DMs from people always asking me for the mixtape or this or that, always saying something, do you understand? But someone sent me a video, and it's like, in the video, they were like filming the TV, like one of my old freestyles. They're basically filming a freestyle, and then they've put the camera down on the table, and there's like a whole like kilo of crack on the table, like in O's. And then like they've stopped it, and it's like, why did you send that to me, fam? Did you think I was gonna pat you in your back, or? I know this, but what hurt me though, because it's like, I know deep down you're thinking that I might still respect this, or this is something good. And it hurt me to think, you know what? People keep telling me that I should keep to say, but I should go back into the music. But don't you understand what comes from it? This is what comes from it. People, you know what people come to you say, listen, your CD was like, like I say, like the Quran of the trap, like in trap houses where man are just literally thumping it. motivating themselves to go and do stupidness.
Stupidness, yeah.
Do you understand? And I've heard it, not just me, like even my friends. When I see my friends' comments and this makes me want to. And these are 9-to-5 guys with good lives. They've got families, they've got good lives, but because they're looking at this lifestyle, they're thinking it's okay, not knowing that there's so much more in between these lifestyles where man are getting robbed, man are getting run down, man are getting so much things that happen in between these things. And again, it's not, and for me, that's not even a reason why to leave it. You should leave it because it's wrong.
Yeah.
But again, like you're saying, that whole trade of destruction, people have to start taking responsibility. I always say this as well, and I'll leave it on this as well, is that, for example, like Nipsey Hussle, I'm not someone that really gravitates to people easily, if that makes sense. I don't really not a bad way, but again, I gravitate to people for reasons that people don't really understand. I gravitate to, like, I'll give you an example. Like I was driving one time and I see a lollipop man singing in the street, and I was like, oh, I rate him, you know. Mama's a lollipop man and he's happy. I respect crazy things like that. These are things that I respect. When I just see someone happy and there's a nice person. They're honest, and I rate honesty and integrity, and there's someone that's a dad, and I respect these things. But you see one thing, Nipsey Hussle, I always respected the fact that, you know what I mean, he was he tried to be a light to a certain extent. But one thing, again, what people don't realize is that if someone became a businessman and helped the community and became a light or whatever, and they said, you know what, it's because of Nipsey Hussle, no one will have no issue with that. They'll be like, yeah, he's right. But if someone turned into a gangbanger or a crip or, you know what I mean, started doing some madnesses or whatever and say, oh, because of Nipsey Hussle. Nah, you can't blame Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So it's cool when it's good, but when it's bad, no one will take responsibility. Take responsibility for what you're putting out there, because in Islam, like, you know, we're all shepherds. We're all leading people, but where you leading people? We're shepherds of our families, of our friends, of our little brothers, especially for us, all that people that were known figures. We're shepherds to a lot of people that we don't even want to accept sometimes. We don't want to really take that responsibility, but you have to. So when people keep thinking, why don't you do that, rare, this is why I don't want to have that trade of destruction behind me. I want to know when I'm gone, people can pray for me. People can honestly say he was a good person. You can honestly say, you know what, yeah, I'm a better person because of my man. I started praying because of him. I became an entrepreneur because of him. Because my thing that I always have to push, especially with the brothers, that make one of your main priorities in life and your main goals should be to be a good husband.
That's deep. Make
this your most important priority outside of your obligation to Allah, is to be a good husband. Because when you're a good husband, this is the beginning of the good society. Because the broken women are one of the reasons why the society is broken anyway. But when you're a good husband, for one, you're following the greatest sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because one thing he always said, the best of you are the one who's best to your wives, and I am the best to my wives. You understand? But when you're the best to your wife, your life is easy.
True.
You can focus. You understand? Everything you're doing is a charity. When you're giving her, buying her chocolate, you're smiling, telling her she's beautiful. Do you understand? Make it a priority to be a good husband. You raise good children this way. Do you understand? You become a better person in society. Do you understand? There's certain things that, again, that us as, just forget that even being Muslim, but this is general people. We have to be very mindful of our relationships and our dealings with people, especially in our houses. Because one thing, my goal is that I want to be a better person in my house than I'm outside. I don't want to be someone that's known as the good person outside, but I'm a tyrant in my house.
That's true.
Do you understand?
Right.
And that's one thing a lot of us are guilty of as well. Do you understand that behind closed doors, we're tyrants. Outside, we're good people. When we're dead, everyone's clapping and saying we miss him, but your family don't feel the same way about you. Do you understand? Right. So again, it's like, there's a lot, I think we've given a lot of gems today. Do you understand? I think we said a lot of things that you can't really wrap into one present. But again, I think that it's just understanding that life is about choices and just try to make the right ones. You know what I'm saying?
We could probably sit here for another 2-3 hours, you know?
Trust me.
I'm going to end it with this, that, you know, wallahi, it's been an amazing podcast. It's just been amazing, you know? Even like so much stuff that, you know, you said that even like enlightened me.
No, and likewise, man. I appreciate it, man.
For the viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed that. This life that they have glamorized, I swear by my Lord, that in the end, is going to bring nothing but destruction. I swear by my Lord on that. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to leave the links to Boxer Blend for these, the cordless, powerful blenders. I'm going to leave the link below. Check it out. And I appreciate the brother Bashir coming down.
Oh, thanks for having me, man.
He's come all the way down to our ends. And I appreciate that. He come from very far away. Jazakallah khair for that. And guys, kicking up dust. We'll be back more with some more content.